Do that. I'm gonna unmute my end and probably just like chat a little bit. All right. Hello, friends who are watching. We're getting set up right now. Just figuring out some technical things with the character sheets, and then we will get started. Fair enough, fair enough. For those watching, I got a sweet map of Barovia over here, mounted next to me. Oh yeah, I gotta get that wild magic. Alright. Well, it sounds like you guys in Discord might be approaching some tier of readiness. Nate, how you doing? Okay. All right, Teague, all good? Give it a whirl. All right. All right.
Yeah. As good as I'm gonna be.
All right. Let's get into it. All right. So, welcome everyone. It's time for the Curse of Strahd. Probably one of the adventures I've always wanted to play the most since I started D&D, just because it's so fucking popular. But this campaign's gonna be a little bit different than the ones some of you have played with me before. It's gonna be a lot more horror-filled. It's a lot darker. And there's, a chance your characters might not make it. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So for those who might be joining us for the first time, I'm Ben the DM, joined by a host of lovely players here. Under their character portraits are their Discord handles. If you want to come join us on the Ben the DM Discord, hit them up, ask them questions, all sorts of fun stuff that you can join and be part of. Shout out to Sirenscape Fantasy Player. I'm currently using the Curse of Strahd Mega Pack. Highly recommend it. It is got a bunch of beautiful sounds, magic, even some dialogue that's been recorded by voice actors. And even if you don't want that full pack, it is free to sign up. Just go to Sirenscape.com and download the free version. So, we'll introduce our characters in a moment, but where are we starting from, you might be wondering. We are starting in a small town on the Sword Coast, Daggerford. This is in the Forgotten Realms. Duchess Morwen of Daggerford is having guests for dinner, and you are all invited. No strangers to Daggerford, you have come to the town's defense on more than one occasion, and you all count Lady Morwen as a friend and a benefactor. A cool autumn breeze blows through the streets as you make your way to her keep. You dine on hot, spicy soup, tenderly cooked pheasant, drink your fill on mulled wine. You can tell that the Duchess seems a little more out of sorts than normal. Then a pall comes over the occasion as she voices her concern about a band of wayward travelers camped outside the town's walls. They seemed harmless at first, but Morwen has received reports that they have begun harassing townsfolk and other visitors as they come and go, demanding money and wine, threatening to put hexes on anyone who doesn't pay up. Yesterday, she tells you that she sent several guards to scare them away, but they just couldn't get the job done. When the guards returned, they spoke sympathetically about the visitors. It seemed as if the guards, at least in Duchess Morwen's eyes, had been magically charmed. Morwen doesn't want an armed conflict, but she aims to send a stern message to the visitors, and asks you to deliver it on her behalf. If they don't leave by dawn, she says, I want you all to burn their wagons to the ground. But let's hope it doesn't come to that. Now, all of you have served me well in the past. I was hoping that you could head over there as we finish our dinner and talk to these travelers. You all having worked for her many times, seems really the easiest request she's ever made of you guys. Just send some visitors away, should be no problem. So as you walk down the road, you're heading outside Daggerford's gates into their nearby encampment. The guards atop the walls are kind of watching the camp closely at all hours. And as you guys are strolling through the streets, kind of post a good, hot, spicy meal, let's kind of describe, who exactly we're looking at as we go through here. So let's start. Drew, could you describe Bodavin as you're marching down the road?
Sure. Bodavin, looks like a young human guy, maybe about 19, 20 years old, tall and skinny, and, just kind of looks like your everyday average traveler, but he's just very handsome, and his hair is like a very vibrant golden blonde color, and his eyes are like silvery blue. He doesn't look like your average human, but
yeah, definitely some like kind of unearthly beauty going on here.
Yeah, exactly. He kind of comes off as kind of naive and a little bit weird. Sometimes he talks about things that sound like conspiracies and religion and stuff like that. Kind of almost a little culty. So,
hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right, going down the line of our our stream right here, Teague, what can you tell us about Uhtred as they walk down the road toward the camp?
Uhtred, he's a half elf. He stands probably close to 6 foot. He's got your typical features that you would see with the with an elf, right?
Sure.
Tall, slender. He's got purple eyes. He's kind of a stoic type. He's pretty hard to trust at first, right? But once you win his trust, you've got it for life.
Fair enough. All right, and then moving along, a little bit smaller member of the party. Nate, what about Thimble here?
Well, Thimble Snigglefritz is
A good last name.
He is a yeah. Thanks for the random name generators.
God bless random name generators.
But he is a short, blonde gnome, just super wild hair, like all over the place. Real fidgety. Definitely loves animals. Like, he's got little animals falling around, but just real fidgety, kind of nervous, talks really fast. But he's definitely been out in the woods a long time. Like, that's definitely where he lives.
All right. And last but not least. All right, Ethan, you want to describe Ingmar?
Yep. So Ingmar is half orc or orc. He definitely looks more like a small orc.
Okay.
More than anything. So he's not as big as your average half orc or even orc at that point in mind. Some decent tusks going on, gross patchy hair on his face a bit, but he's a bit smaller than your average orc. And just imagine him in a nice big long duster with a spear by his side that's more on the kin to a walking stick than a spear, and
okay.
definitely has some mystique behind him.
Yeah.
To that degree.
Oh yeah. I think, as you guys are like walking down the road, the guards, the ones who are on top of the wall watching this camp outside the city, they nod at you guys. You guys definitely have an air of authority. They've seen you guys do several jobs. Some of the magic users have gone on special assignment for the Duchess. You melee folk have done the same. And as you guys approach, we're going to change our music vibe up a little bit here. As you head to the camp outside the city. As the evening grows dark, you see a dozen men and women gathered around a crackling bonfire. The folk are in good spirits. A few of them sing and dance around the fire, while others find happiness in their flasks and wineskins. 3 barrel-topped wagons are parked at odd angles. Tied to a nearby tree, grazing, are a half-dozen draft horses wearing bright colors with bangles and tassels dangling from their saddles. I'll kind of show you guys the vibe here. These are Vistani. Now, the Vistani are kind of like traveling Romani type people. They go all over the world, but they've set up this encampment right outside your city. Do you guys do anything as you're approaching? You can see they haven't really spotted you yet. You're still kind of by the gate. You can just see them, frolicking around, instruments in hand, wine skins, all sorts of things going on.
So we're definitely we're on this mission here, right?
Your goal is to try to get them to just basically just piss off. They the Duchess does not want them here. They're kind of harassing tourists, harassing the local trade routes. And with that in mind, she's like, look, I'll burn their wagons down if they don't leave. I need you guys to encourage them to leave. The last guards she suspected got enchanted and left without doing anything.
If there's anything I've ever learned from anything I've ever read, is you don't fuck with gypsies, right? I'm leaving these guys alone.
Well, I would say, if, whoops. Gotta delete my search right there so I can pull up your guys' sheets. Anyone that
Did you just show off your dirty search history to the rest of the party?
No. It was mainly just DM stuff that I didn't want everyone to see and give away. If anyone who wants to can make a history check about the Vistani.
Amputee moms. I saw it.
It's there.
All right, starting things off with a 14. Hell yeah.
Mine's trying to go, but it's not working because Roll20 is being an awesome piece of shit today.
Fair
Sponsor
enough.
us, Roll20.
Well, so far with a 14, what Thimble would know, and then I guess Ingmar, you don't have advantage right now, so a 10, you learned about the same as a 14, honestly. The Vistani, they're travelers. They definitely have a bad reputation, but honestly, some of it's a little not earned. People are like, oh, they're thieves, they're awful. And these guys are kind of harassing people a little bit, but it's not as bad as people often make it out to be. Although, you would know, with the 10 and 14, that it is fact that the Vistani do possess the ability to curse people. It's just kind of this like
That's a pretty well-known fact.
not well known, like a lot of it's kind of like folktale, but you guys have studied enough that you're like, okay, you know, there's something in their blood that lets them put at least some of these curses out.
Oh. Okay. Well, yeah, Bodivin wouldn't really be into telling people what to do, so he's just kind of here because apparently he was like told by this lady he works with. I think generally more he's kind of like a janitor or a handyman and fixes stuff around. So he's like,
Sure.
Well, he's like, why the hell am I here? I'm just gonna kind of sit back, and if anything happens, then maybe I might help.
All right. Is anyone trying to sneak around there, or are you guys just kind of approaching the camp? Because if you're approaching, we'll move on to our next thing here.
Yeah, I don't think Ingmar would approach them, being he usually doesn't get he's, you know, not really the most welcome considering how much of an orc he looks like. He tends to kind of keep his distance until he sees an opportunity or something in common to line up with what they're up to, you know.
Hell yeah.
But he can definitely relate to their travelings.
All right. Well, as you guys, I'm actually roll from them. As you guys are kind of, you know, getting the lay of the land, you are approached by one of the people there. I'm going to drag his token out here and kind of expand it so you guys can see. You see an older Vistani man, kind of this narrow white beard, very wrinkled face. Eyes kind of covered in cataracts, not to the point where he's blind, but he's probably getting there. As he approaches you all, come, welcome, share some wine with us. It's always good to see some travelers. What business do you have with the Vistani?
This guy approaches us?
Yeah, he comes up to you guys.
Oh, gotcha.
Well, Bodivin immediately, like when somebody's friendly with him, he's just like, "Oh, hey, yeah, oh, just hanging out here with my friends. Yeah, I'd love to come drink with you."
Oh, indeed. He, like, slaps Bodivin on the back. Does anyone else, like, deliver the Duchess Morwen's warning, or you guys just kind of go with it?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, seeing that Ingmar knows more from, like, he knows Bodivin a bit better than the rest. And the fact that they're friendly, he's gonna follow along with that for sure, and just kind of hang out for now.
Yeah, I think I would. Uhtred would follow suit, just to kind of get an idea of who the folks are, and if they actually represent or present any type of danger. And then I don't think the lady was that convincing. I know that she wined and dined us for a little bit. Is that right?
Yeah, she wanted to dine you guys for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, she didn't really give me that much of an incentive to shoot these folks off. So I mean, I'm gonna hang out with them.
Okay. Kind of, you know, just looking at you guys, and he's kind of like, look, you know, don't worry. He sees you guys kind of like looking back at the guards. It's fine, come. I have a story to tell all of you. First you listen, and then my people will be on their way. What do you say to that?
Is it a scary story?
In many ways, yes, but it is a true story. Come, my name is Stanimir, and I would tell you our tale. Come, sit by the fire.
Oh, okay.
I love stories.
Thimbles definitely like kind of not hide, but definitely like use like stay in someone else's shadow, like away from them a little bit. So he'd be like ducking behind Uhtred.
Hell yeah. You kind of like hiding behind Uhtred. You're keeping a low profile. Like as you guys kind of go around this bonfire, there's the Vistani, you know, still singing, playing instruments. Although the instruments start to take on a little bit more of a sober cast. You know, a little quieter, a little bit more reserved. And you kind of, like you say, hide behind him, just a little bit on the outskirts of the fire, among the shadows. Stanimir at this point kind of fills his mouth. You can't quite tell what it is. Some sort of, judging by the smell, some sort of potent liquor. And he spits it into the fire. You see the flames turn from orange to a strange green color. We come from an ancient land whose name is long forgotten, a land of kings. Our enemies forced us from our homes, and now we wander the lost roads. You see the dark shape inside the fire takes the form of a man being knocked from his horse with a spear in his side. There's definitely some sort of magic at hand here. Stanimir continues, "One night, a wounded soldier staggered into our camp and collapsed. We nursed his terrible injury and quenched his thirst with wine. He survived. When we asked him who he was, he wouldn't say. All he wanted was to return home. But we were deep in the land of his enemies. We took him in as one of our own and followed him back towards his homeland. His enemies hunted him, pursued him. They said he was a prince. Yet we did not give up on him, even when their assassins fell upon our camps like wolves." Deep in the bonfire, you see the dark figure standing with a sword drawn, fighting off host after host of shadowy shapes. Now this man of royal blood fought to protect us, as we protected him. We bore him safely to his home, and he thanked us. He said, "I owe you my life. Stay as long as you wish. Leave when you choose, and know that you will always have a safe home here." The figure in the fire dances. You see him vanquish one final foe, and the flames disperse in a cloud of smoke and embers, returning to their original orangish red hues. You look over at Stanimir, as you guys all realize you've been kind of entranced by this fire for a little bit. You look back at him, and far from the cheerful man that greeted you guys, slapped Bodovin on the back, his face has become a rather sober mask. "But you see, a curse has befallen our noble prince, turning him into a tyrant. We alone have the power to leave his domain, and we have traveled far and wide in search of heroes such as yourselves to end our dread lord's curse and put his troubled soul to rest. Our leader, Madame Eva, knows all. Would you return to our homeland of Barovia with us and speak to her? We will leave your home of Daggerford in peace. Just come with us. We need you."
Oh yeah, definitely. That sounds great to me. Bodovin's just like really entranced by this guy, and is just kind of up for anything. This guy needs help. I'm right there.
Thank you. He kind of looks at Bodovin again, that same friendliness on his face, "You will seem like you will be a great help to us. And the rest of you?"
While I would like to be as upfront and trusting as Bodovin, and I love stories. That's what I do for a living. I tell stories. I am unsure of if this is a true story, but also what we might be able to do or help with.
Alright, I would say, those of you who want to can give me an insight check to see if what he said was true. Okay, but in response to your question, he's definitely like, "No, it is true. It's a true story. We really do need your help." Thimble with a 1 is just like, yeah, it seems good.
I'm in, guys. Let's do this.
Ingmar with an 18. You think that this is true, but you think that he's almost sugarcoating it a little bit.
So he's a true storyteller. He's weaving. He's taking the truth, but it's not the whole truth.
It's definitely not the whole truth. You think, if anything, he's made this seem, oh, you guys are these heroic heroes, and this is well within your grasp. He's definitely got some reservations, like maybe this is a harder thing than he is letting on.
You know, he's a client, so I'll probably do a reading for him again a little later on, but he's definitely a client, and you know, so I can tell when people are like fluffing the truth up versus just straight up lying.
Oh, for sure. So I mean, you've definitely caught him in this, you know, with that knowledge, Ethan. What do you say to him?
I wouldn't tell him anything. I would let him know that as far as we are concerned, we live here and we get pampered to serve the lady, and yet you expect us to go to another land and attempt to dispel a curse that of a story that may be true, but you are leaving parts of the story out for sure.
Bodovin's like, yeah, what? He actually has a pretty good point.
Butterman's like, yeah, totally. You definitely, as you bring this point up, you see just briefly, Ingmar, this guy's like mask of seriousness kind of like slips for a second, and so far you have only seen these people either be serious or be excited. There's definitely a new emotion in this guy's eyes. He's afraid. Listen, I tell you what I hope you need to hear. Do you really want to spend your lives as heroes only in Duchess Morwen's employ? There is so much more out there. We are real people with a real need of your help, please. This is important. This matters, that I can promise. I can't guarantee safety, I can't guarantee that everything will end up okay. But what I can guarantee is that you will be doing something worthwhile. And is that not enough?
Bodovin looks over at Ingmar and is like, was this like kind of like the Destiny stuff you were telling me about the other day during the tarot card reading that I paid you for?
That remains to be unseen. You can tell Ingmar's a little uncomfortable right now. Like that's we can discuss this further, but it remains to be unseen. Are we done with working for the lady? Like, are we out of work? Are we kind of done?
I would say you guys are more like independent contractors, essentially. Like,
okay.
She has the town guard. She just, like, sometimes she hires you guys because you're pretty capable to solve problems for her. I mean, they offered if you guys go with them, they're going to leave the town anyway. So, I mean, win-win. That's what she wanted you to do.
Yeah, I may actually, like, step aside and, like, do an actual tarot card reading to kind of see if I can, like, put my heart into it to see if I can figure out whether I should go or not.
Okay. I would say
I got a thing I can draw right here so I don't touch yours. I got another one on the side.
okay. Yeah, draw your one on the side. See what you get.
I got a 6 of swords.
All right, so 6.
Which is the berserker.
I would say you reach into your deck and, you know, like you said,
I'm gonna play with this real quick. Let me run with this.
Okay, go for it. Go for it. You do you.
So I'm gonna pull up. I drew 2 cards. One's the berserker, and the other one is a high deck card.
Mm-hmm.
The innocent. So based on those two, so the berserker, I'm looking at that. He's probably like, oh yes, the berserker, bloodlust, death, very passionate feelings. Perhaps there's more to this. Might deal with the strength of the curse, perhaps. And then the high card of the innocent, clearly, a being of great importance, life is in danger. And perhaps immediate peril. Will I be able to help out? Perhaps not, but I'm thinking we should all go. This is certainly something I feel the fates are drawing us towards.
As you tell them that,
Yeah, I knew it.
you look up, Ethan, Ingmar looks up and sees like all the Vistani are just staring at you. They have a great respect for Taroka readers. You see a few of them kind of make this gesture, like 3 fingers over their heart, pushing away. They're trying to like ward off the evil eye as they're like, oh, someone with power is here. As he like licks his lips, Stanimir's like, a Taroka reader, you would get along well. Look, Madame Eva would like you, and she will have the answers you seek even more, hopefully even more clearly. You will walk with us then?
I believe I will attend. And I'd look over at the other 2 companions who are just kind of sitting there a bit more quiet and gauge where they're at. Thimble had mentioned a little earlier he was into it, but definitely look at Uhtred, and since he's kind of probably the more dangerous of the one, and probably, for lack of a better term at this point, as far as Ingmar's concerned, the more important of the group, he's kind of very much like waiting to see where his views are at. But based on what he said, Ingmar would definitely think we should head out and go help them. There's definitely something afoot, and we're a part of it, whether we want to or not.
Hell yeah. Uhtred, anything to add to that?
No, I'm good. I'm a little bit distracted, guys, but I do apologize. But yeah, I'm good.
All right.
Do you wanna...
Go ahead, Drew. Or sorry, Ethan.
I was going to say with Teague, if this is something we want to put on pause, or what's something we can help, like something we want to pause for a minute, or...
Oh, you guys are good. Go ahead. Keep going.
Okay. I was actually going to describe, as you did that Taroka reading, almost unintentionally, you do pull on some divination magic. And one of our friends in chat did roll for Magical Surge. I want you to roll a D100, Ethan. As this cold... You've had experiences before as as Ingmar, where you know that the Taroka deck is real and you've done real readings. Normally it's a warm feeling in your gut. Like, you know that something is happening. This time, you know something's happening, but a bunch of leaves blow off a nearby tree, and you feel this cold breeze kind of just cut through your clothes, right to your core. However, as the Vistani are packing up to go and, like, walk with you along the road, with that magical surge, you begin to glow with a bright light in a 30-foot radius. It's seemingly emanating from your deck of cards. Seeing this, the Vistani see this as like a sign, and they like very eagerly are like bowing to the party and just like, finally, heroes, come with us to Barovia.
I believe we shall. And while we're kind of doing that real quick, we still need Teague and Uhtred and Bodavin to roll the D100 for their items.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead. So, those of you who already have your items, do you want to share what you guys got?
No.
Well,
okay,
fine. I'll start off. So Thimble got the pipe, and when you blow out the smoke, it comes out of skulls.
Ooh. All right, and then I see, our lovely friend Bodavin got a 19.
A bottle of invisible ink?
Yeah, a bottle of invisible ink that can only be read at sunset. And then we will see what Teague gets.
And I didn't get what I thought. I was wrong.
Oh, what did you get?
Where is it? Small worn book of children's nursery rhymes.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, make sure to write that down. Teague, you have just in your pack, a tiny clockwork figurine of a dancer that's missing a gear and doesn't work. You still keep it with you. All right.
I know
Did Ben-
exactly what that
I'm-
that fits. That actually fits in well with my backstory.
Hell yeah.
Then I missed what you gave me. Sorry, bud.
Sorry, I was looking at who missed what they gave. I was looking at the map.
You got
Both
he got a bottle of invisible ink that can only be read at sunset.
Correct.
Oh, that's awesome.
So a lot of these areas you're not gonna know right away in this map of Barovia, but you guys are coming in from the east. We're gonna start at Area A. As you guys march, this party with the Duchess went on for quite a while. After a lengthy walk, dawn is starting to come, but it's definitely still nighttime. And you find yourself on what you hear some of the Vistani calling Old Svalich Road. Black pools of water stand like dark mirrors in and around this muddy roadway. You see giant trees loom on both sides of the road, their branches clawing at a seemingly ever-present mist. After about 2.5 more hours, you guys come to a rather breathtaking sight. Give me 1 second. As the caravan approaches, they tell you, we are nearing the borders of Barovia. And as you round a bend in a mountain pass, you see this.
Dude, that's ancient.
The fog
Ominous.
spills out of the forest to swallow up the road behind you. Ahead, jutting from the impenetrable woods on both sides of the road, are high stone buttresses looming gray in the fog. Huge iron gates hang on to the stonework. Dew clings with cold tenacity to the rusted bars, and 2 headless statues of armed guardians flank the gates. Their heads now lying among the weeds at their feet. They greet you only with silence.
So is this a village or a castle or like?
This whole
Is there a lot of
area
people here?
is this is like a wall.
Okay.
It seems like the wall doesn't stretch around the whole kingdom, but at least is blocking. Okay. Chat also redeemed inspiration for your enemies next time you guys run into an enemy. Excellent. All right. But this is basically just coming out of the forest, so you can see that like it's possible to go around this wall, maybe if you went a couple miles to either side, but you'd be walking through the mist-covered forest. As you kind of come to a halt, wagons creaking to a stop. Once again, Standemir turns to you all. Thank you, friends. But know that once we enter, this is your chance to back out from helping us. I pray that you do not. But once we cross the threshold, well, things can be different in Barovia. This is a land unlike anything you have encountered before.
For better or for worse, I believe I am tied to this more and more, and as much as I think I could walk away, I believe I will be pulled back in regardless.
Bodvin's just there with like childlike excitement. He's really excited, like Ingmar's there. Ingmar usually tells him good things during card readings, so he just like thinks this is great. Hearing all this, Barovia, let's do it.
Hell yeah. Alright. If that's the case then, as you pass through the gates, the iron bars close behind you. As the last wagon passes through, they seem to seal shut. And behind the gates, as you look back through, you can no longer see the road. Just that same ever-present fog seems to kind of flow in from the trees on either side.
No, I
That's
believe
a
the
setting, guys.
curse might be a bit more. Not that I doubted there was a curse, but there's definitely something ominous about this land.
All right. Stanimir says, if we are lucky, we should be able to catch Madame Eva before she makes it all the way to our other camp. She was traveling just a little bit ahead of us. Do you guys have any questions for them as you see these gates kind of slam shut?
Not right now. I think just be taking it all in right now, just paying attention and just looking at just looking at the people, the disposition, what's going on, and just trying to use my like sense of feeling to kind of get an idea of what's happening.
Very well. All right. In that case, you guys are going to continue along your way to the bank of the Ivlis River, the first D on the map there. As you guys...
What time of day is it, Ben?
What time of day is it? It is still nighttime. It's probably about like 5 in the morning. The sun is not supposed to rise, probably for about 2 more hours.
Okay.
All right. Before you guys can make it to the river, though, where they think Madame Eva is probably waiting, stopping to have her horses drink, etc., you are kind of marching through the Svalich woods. Towering trees, whose tops are lost in heavy gray mist, block out all but just the palest gray light. In fact, as you march through the woods, it seems the stars themselves, the moon, seem to pale, not shining as much light as they did back in Daggerford. The tree trunks are unnaturally close to one another, almost like citizens of a poor town huddling together, getting ready to rob a party of travelers. The woods have the silence of a forgotten grave, yet they exude the feeling of an unvoiced scream. Everyone give me a perception check.
My perception, no good.
Yeah, no.
Your perception is small because you can't see. You don't have a very wide view of anything.
Ooh,
It's that angles, man.
Bodavin coming in with that 16 there.
Or a nat 20.
Well, you don't have advantage unless you have something that gives you advantage on perception, but I don't think you would at level 1.
Yeah, I don't know why it rolled it like that.
You can set it to do both at once. I can show you how to check that on and off later.
Okay.
All right. 11 actually would hit this as well. This was a DC of 10. As you guys keep walking, Uhtred and Bodavin, you catch the scent of death upon the air. The foul scent leads you to a human corpse, half buried in the underbrush, about 15 feet off the side of the road. The young man appears to be a commoner. His muddy clothes are torn and raked with claw marks. Crows have been at the body, which is surrounded by the paw prints. The man has obviously been dead for several days. In his hand, he holds a crumpled envelope.
I think Uhtred would kneel down, take a closer look. More so, he's more so interested in what possibly killed this guy. Given that you have claw marks and paw prints around, it's either an animal or some variation of, right? So I think I'd probably want to just examine a little bit, see if I can see what what happened to this guy.
I will say the first thing you notice when you bend down is kind of automatically with no check. You can see that the letter has a large letter B set into a wax seal. Looks like the letter has not been opened yet. But if you're looking for what exactly is going on here as Uhtred, go ahead and give me a... This is going to be a nature roll.
Is Bodevin gonna get a reaction too, since he got a?
I would say since Bodevin spotted it as
check
well,
it.
if he wants, he could try to make a nature check too.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think Bodevin would have just ran down and been a little bit more concerned about the guy, if he noticed him.
Okay.
The rest of us have known by now what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, unless you guys are trying to purposely obscure it, but I think considering how big the party is you're traveling with, some of the Vistani would have seen you. With the nat 1, 401, Uhtred's not really sure what happened here. What's really confusing to Uhtred, it seems like there was a variety of different animals that were present, which doesn't really make sense. Like birds teaming up with other beasts. It's all like a hodgepodge here.
Off to a hot start, guys.
But does Uhtred try to kind of call for anyone else? You could try to get some of the Vistani to assist you if you want.
No, I mean, dead is dead. He was just curious to see at a glance if you can see what happened here. I guess next he would focus on the letter.
Fair enough. All right.
Would Bodevin be able to do a survival check to kind of check this guy out and see how hurt he is?
I mean, he's way dead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a corpse. He's been dead for at least several days, so probably not doing great.
I mean, like how they tore him apart.
Oh, that would be the
Something
nature
like
check.
that,
That's what Uhtred is rolling.
So now that Thimble has kind of seen it, I'm guessing he would want to check it out, do a nature check as well.
Okay.
And then he would also be looking for small animals. Well, there we go. To kind of talk to and ask what was going on.
Hell yeah. Well, with that nat 20, beautiful. For a 25. First of all, great it was a nat 20. Second of all, that smashed the DC of this roll. At first, you're like, oh, some kind of forest cat, and then you get closer and examine it. You're like, oh, maybe wolves. And then you kind of start to break out in a cold sweat as you realize this wasn't done by wolves. This was done by a pack of, at minimum, 5 dire wolves. Beasts that are much stronger than you all are.
Guys, we have a problem here. And then he just relay all that stuff to him.
Definitely some muttering among the Vistanis. Like, dire wolves, this is not good. This is not good. Yes, okay. We should go as soon as possible.
Is there any animals around, like small ones, like squirrels, birds, or is it everything's scared out of the area?
Now that you mention it, you don't hear any bird song. You don't hear the chittering of small animals. It looks like most creatures have cleared the fuck out of this place. And as you're looking around for those signs, you do hear a distant woo coming from farther into the forest.
Guys, I think we need to leave very quickly. I don't think we should be here.
Yeah, as long as Uhtred has the letter, and if there's any items on him, like a family signet or anything of value on him, I would, try and grab it to hopefully return it back to his family.
It seems like all he really had, besides the clothes on his back, which are now wrecked, would be the letter.
Okay.
Do you guys kind of just take the letter and book it then?
Yeah, I don't really want to fuck with dire wolves.
Take off.
Right. Yeah, you guys take off with enough time that, despite the fact you have several worryingly close howls around you, no direwolves, attack to feast on your party. As you guys are walking, do you open the letter?
I would see. Well, since I have the letter, I'd hold it up to the rest of the group and see what they thought.
Well, it's a
So I
lot
was
of
clicking shit.
it's a lot of D100s.
224. We open the letter and we go home.
The letter,
I figured it
strangely
out,
enough, the letter is just Strahd. Wild with a 224.
I don't know what's happening?
Okay, so Uhtred holds up the letter to you guys. How do you react to that?
That's nice, and Thimble's just gonna keep stepping it the fuck out.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I have a similar reaction.
who read the letter?
No one read it. He just held it up to you guys.
No one's read it, so I guess what we're trying to decide is, what do we do with the letter? And I guess what I would say is, I guess let me try doing it in character so I can help me refocus here.
Go for it.
It's like the fella out there. He met a pretty nasty ending. The only thing he had to his name was this letter here. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't see anything on him to indicate any family. Maybe the letter here will tell us who to go notify.
I believe yes. We should find out what the letter says and find out. Maybe we can inform the family.
All right. So it's in your hands, Uhtred. Do you crack that wax seal open?
Yeah, I'd crack it open, but before I would probably look over to Bodovin.
Mm-hmm.
You mind saying something extra special for us, fella?
Oh, yeah. I really think that this guy died in a really bad way, but I hope it was a short and sudden death and an end to a beautiful life. All right.
With the nat 20, would I know how long it took for him to die? Was slow or painful or not?
You hear him give Bodovin's trying to give a nice eulogy here, make people feel better. Up to you whether you share it or not, Thimble. But no, it was not quick in any way. It was awful. This man was eaten by wolves, probably over the course of several hours.
Yeah, he's just gonna choke down a response and and then just keep his mouth shut.
All right. After this short benediction, are you cracking that seal open, Uhtred?
I am, yes.
All right. I'm gonna send you guys. I'm actually gonna show you guys this letter that you've stumbled upon. Very, very finely written, but it also has the easier reading below it. Hail thee of might and valor. I, the burgomaster of Barovia, send you honor with despair. My adopted daughter, the fair Irina Koliana, has been these past nights bitten by a vampire. For over 400 years, this creature has drained the lifeblood of my people. Now my dear Irina languishes and dies from an unholy wound caused by this vile beast. He has become too powerful to conquer. So I say to you, give us up for dead. Encircle this land with symbols of good. Let holy men call upon their power, that the devil may be contained within the walls of weeping Barovia. Leave our sorrows to our graves, and save the world from the evil fate of ours. There is much wealth entrapped in this community. Return for your reward after we are all departed for a better life. Signed, Kolyan Indirovich, Burgomaster. For those who don't know, a burgomaster is an old English word. It's a mayor of a town.
So I'm assuming that Uhtred was the one that read that. So at
Yes.
hearing vampire, his interest is is automatically peaked, right? Since he's a vampire hunter, but
sure.
he's not going to say much, but he's going to kind of look at the rest of the party to see what their reaction is.
I don't think Bodevin really knows much about vampires, and if you're like reading this out loud, he's just kind of curious, you know. Like, if you know so much about them, can you tell us a little bit?
A little bit about the vampires.
Yeah,
You
Bodevin doesn't really, you know, have too much of a education to lean on.
you are hunter, yes? You hunt creatures?
Aye,
And that's directly to Uhtred.
that's right. Hunt creatures from time to time. And vampires are the nastiest of the sort. They walk that line between life and death, belonging to neither side, however tormented. But they stalk the shadows and prey upon the innocent, draining the lifeblood from the living.
As you kind of give that description, again, you see the Vistani making that like 3-finger gesture over their heart to ward off the evil eye.
I've heard tales of a vampire close to these parts here, strong ones. A type like I've never seen before. Is this where you're leading us, old man?
Is this... He, like, looks side to side. He's like, am I leading you to a vampire? I suppose not... Not directly.
Listen, grandfather. I think we're well on our way to becoming friends, right? You've got us in a cart. You've taken us all this way. At least you owe us is a bit of honesty, yeah?
Alright. You are right. You have agreed to come here. You have braved the gates into Barovia itself. Our prince, the one we spoke of, the one we saved in that story, the curse that is upon his soul is one of vampirism. I have no doubt that that letter you just read to us, well, I imagine it was his doing.
So tell me something here, grandfather. So as Uhtred's talking, he takes more of a hostile stance.
Okay.
You still call this man your prince?
The prince in life was a great protector of our people. We gave him kindness and he repaid with kindness. He still, in some ways, tries to repay the Vistani in kindness, but he has lived too long. Longer than any mortal man has a right to do. He has become more monster than prince, I fear. Do I respect him? Do I respect the old ways? Of course, my ancestors would have wanted nothing else, but all the same. Perhaps it is time for a soul such as his to be laid to rest.
This is what the cards showed us.
Yes.
That's assuming that there's still a soul there. Been my experience that as soon as someone is inflicted with vampirism, there's no soul in the body. Just a beast, monster. This ideal of a prince that you hold on to, old timer. Might be better to just let it go.
You see a kind of far away look as he stares out onto the gray horizon of this country, out toward the trees. You know, cataracts in his eyes, almost blind. Nods his head. You'll find, I think, that in Barovia, the past has a way of staying with you. for longer than you might want.
Uhtred.
As it does about elsewhere, friend. I don't blame you. It's hard to change once we get set into our ways, but still, we owe it to ourselves to try and be better, yeah?
Uhtred, you will hunt. You will hunt vampire? This prince?
Aye, unfortunately, fellas, I can't help it. It's in my nature. If there's something around that's preying on the innocent, lurking in the shadows, then yes,
I will.
I.
I will follow. And you'll see. Ingmar pull out a pendant and give it a kiss, and almost like say something under his breath real quick before he stuffs it back under his shirt. But I will follow you.
Aye. How about the rest of you? I'll tell you a little bit of a story. My father, he was a huntsman, an elf for the woods. My mother, she was a seamstress and a cleaner for the deep pockets down in Daggerford. And the two of them they were always out and about trying to make ends, leaving my sister and me to our own devices. My sister, she was a little bit nigh on 2 years, but she had a smile that would light up her room. She was destined to change the world. My mother said that she was touched by the gods. And it was evident in her right hand was a birthmark in the shape of a bursting star. And one night, as I lay in my bed, I was startled awake by this blood-curdling scream. It took me a minute before I realized it was coming from my mother's room. I jumped up and grabbed my dagger and rushed over, and what I saw was horrendous. My mother, her innards, scattered about, and the screaming was my little sister. It was at the foot of my mother's bed stood this awning, terrible thing. And he had dawdled my sister by one leg upside down, shaking her about. Without proper thought, I rushed forward, a dagger in hand, foolish as I was. And the beast, he swatted me away like a fly. And for my would-be heroics, he in turn turned my own blade against me, tearing it deep into my ribs. I collapsed to the floor. As my blood pooled around me, I remember seeing this thing staring in the darkness, shaking my sister, like a merchant inspecting meat at a market. And then there was nothing. I don't really know how I lived, but I did. And it took me 3 years. But I found him. I found this bastard. I stalked him for days. And I found that this Lonnie too had a family. Or at least some perverse interpretation of a family. Had a woman and a child. And for a moment, I felt something like sympathy. After all, this beast was trying to take care of his family. It's just the nature of things, right? But then something caught my eye. Hung around his neck like a little trinket was a small withered hand, and in its palm, a starburst. Then it was as if I was possessed by every foul creature to ever walk the underworld, and I set upon him. I murdered his boy first. I strew his guts along the ground with my short sword. His chest cavity was empty before he even knew what had happened. And then I turned my attention to his woman. Her I engulfed in a vial of dragon and hellfire. She wailed and screamed, clawing at her face as her skin turned to ash and her muscle melted away. And by this time, Leone had come to his senses and he pushed his attack. And by the gods did he attack. The strength of this beast was amazing, like nothing I'd ever seen before. The skill with his blade was impressive. But if there's one thing that I've learned, that hatred is a far more superior weapon than strength or skill alone. And it was hatred that guided my blade into this bastard's heart. As he slunk to the floor, his eyes filled with water. As he looked over at his murdered family, his face, once a symbol of fear and fright, had given way to despair and hopelessness. And as he died beneath my heel, I realized, in that moment, who I was and what my purpose was. I knew that as long as foul creatures such as this stalked the night, preying upon the innocent, that I alone would give them calls to look twice over their shoulder as they carry out their perverse actions against the weak. And I would give them calls to check the shadows for themselves, for fear that Uhtred, Bloodhair, would be behind them. So, friends, as long as something like this exists, I have no choice but to move towards it.
Well said.
Bodovin is just like totally wide-eyed, you know, and kind of freaked out just a little bit.
See, my mother, in the end, she was right. My little sister, she was destined to change the world, but not in the way that we had all expected. For in her death, it's my vengeance, my revenge for her, that will change the world.
Well, then I believe, as long as our little gnome friend is here, we will push forward.
I don't really like where this is going, but I feel like if we got the power to do something, we need to help those who can't help themselves. So I'm in.
Excellent.
Yeah, I like that.
All right.
As you, as you can tell, we are friends. We will push forward. Take us.
As you guys were kind of listening to him tell his tale, the carts were rumbling on, and you come to the bank of the river Ivlis. The river flows as clear as blue winter sky through the valley. And after a few minutes, one of the Vistani comes back up to all of you. And just kind of turns to, bows his head to you all, turns to Stanimir. Stanimir, there, a note was left by Madame Eva. She said to skirt the town, skirt the village of Barovia itself, and head straight to our encampment. She said she knew that we would have guests, and that she needed to see them as soon as possible. She is most wise in the ways of... kind of looks over at you, Ingmar. He's like, she is most wise in the ways of Taroka.
She must be very wise indeed. I believe we should heed her warning then.
Stanimir nods. Says, very well. We will head to the River Ilvis crossroads, cut through there, and head to our encampment. Alright. As the carts rumble on here, you find yourself at a crossroads. There's a few different ways to cross the river and roads to follow, all leading to their encampment. An old wooden gallows creaks in a chill wind that blows down from the high ground to the west. You see a frayed length of rope dances from its beam. The well-known road splits here, and a signpost opposite the gallows points off in 3 directions. Barovia village to the east, the Sayre pool to the northwest, and Ravenloft/Valaki to the southwest. The northwest fork slants down and disappears into the trees, while the southwest clings to an upward slope. Across from the gallows is a low wall, crumbling in places, partially enclosing a small plot of graves, shrouded in the fog. This is a bad place, where the nobles did hangings to those who did not truly deserve it. We should carry on.
You remember, just nod and follow along.
As you guys go by, you hear a creaking noise behind you coming from the gallows. And as you look back where there was nothing before, now you see a lifeless gray body. The breeze turns to the hanged figure slowly so that it can fix its dead eyes upon you. All of you see this peasant-looking man, clearly long dead. But Bodovin, as the body spins around, all you can see is that it is you hanging from the gallows. What do you do?
Uh,
The man is dead?
what is happening? Right? Does anybody else see that? He like points and is totally mesmerized, and is just kind of in awe. Doesn't know how to take it in, and is needing help from those around him.
Did we all see this, or is this just one or two of us?
Just Bodivin. All of you saw just a gray. First of all, I mean, the rope was empty. You're positive of that. But when it creaks and you guys look back, 3 of you saw just a body. Bodivin saw himself hanging from it.
Come, my friend. This is not the place to be waiting around. This is there is nothing here for us.
It's just so dark here, and Bodivin goes off with him.
All right. You guys are about to approach the encampment of the Vistani. Although, as you do, you make that comment about it being dark here. And you realize you've been walking for a few hours. It's past sunrise. And as you look up, you realize it hasn't brightened that much. Even as you exit the forest, there's rolling clouds that cast this gray pall over the land. Even the trees themselves seem deprived of color. But one thing's for sure, you don't think you're going to see the sun anytime soon.
Well, this whole setting here is making Bodivin feel kind of out of sorts, and everyone might notice that he is just kind of feeling not like himself right now.
Alright. The road gradually disappears and is replaced by a twisted, muddy path through the trees. Deep ruts in the earth are evidence of comings and goings of wagons. The canopy of mist and branches suddenly gives way to black clouds boiling far above. There is a clearing here, next to a river, that widens to form a small lake several 100 feet across. 5 colorful round tents, each about 10 feet in diameter, are pitched outside a ring of 4 barrel-topped wagons. A much larger tent stands near the shore of the lake, its sagging form lit from within. Near this tent, you see 8 unbridled horses drinking from the river. The mournful strains of accordion clash with the singing of several brightly clad figures around a bonfire. A footpath continues beyond the encampment, meandering between the river and the forest edge. And I'm going to bring you guys over. All right. You find yourself in the encampment of the Vistani. You see,
These horses are quite large.
They are quite. I mean, they're all large size. These are thick horses. The Vistani who are traveling with you greet all their friends. It's a beautiful reunion. For once, they seem happy. And normally they are not. Do you guys try to talk to anyone here, or do you look straight for Madame Ava's tent?
Bodivin beelines for the fire and goes and stands next to it.
Oh yeah, as Bodivin goes by the fire, you see that they welcome you in like this is the most natural thing in the world. And as they bring you in,
he kind of perks up in the firelight.
Give me 1 second. You guys are all in the Vistani camp right now, so I'm gonna change to that. Alright. As they bring you in, one of them actually grabs Bodivin and is just like, "Welcome, welcome. I was wondering if you wanted to share a tale with me." Your
I don't have
friend.
many tales, but I'll try to do my best.
Oh, I have one to tell. You bring your friends as well. It's okay. Come, it's an interesting
Well, they might want
tale.
to come over. I'm not going to go get them. I like the light here.
Oh, it's a tale of a mighty wizard. He came to this land over a year ago. I remember him like it was yesterday. He stood exactly like you're... right where you're standing, in fact. A very charismatic man he was. He thought he could rally the people of Barovia against the Dark Prince. He stirred them with thoughts of revolt and bore them to the castle en masse. But then the vampire appeared, the wizard's peasant army fled in terror. A few stood their ground, of course, and were never seen again. But the wizard and the vampire, they cast such powerful spells at each other. Their battle flew from the courtyards of Ravenloft to a precipice overlooking the falls. I was there, I saw the battle with my own eyes. Thunder shook the mountainside, and great rocks tumbled upon the wizard. Yet by his magic, he survived. Incredible, is it not? Lightning from the heavens struck the wizard, and again he stood his ground. But when the devil Strahd fell upon him, the wizard's magic couldn't save him. I saw him thrown 1,000 feet to his death. I climbed down to search for the wizard's body, to see if, you know, maybe he had something of value? But the river Ivlis had spirited him away. But enough of such dark things. Welcome to our camp, nay?
But would have been kind of, really takes this story in, kind of this wizard, who stood his ground, and he reaches down and grabs a necklace that's a leather strap with a crystal on the end, and just kind of starts thinking to himself.
At this point, but your handy guide at this point, kind of talks to you guys. Stanimir points over. He says, "Do you see that larger tent by the river, the square one? Madame Eva is inside. The light is on. It must mean she's waiting for you. Come. Best not keep her waiting." Do you guys head over with him?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make her token a bit bigger. As you enter the tent of Madame Eva. Magic flames cast a reddish glow over the interior of the tent, revealing a low table covered in a black velvet cloth. Glints of light seem to flash from a crystal ball on the table as a hunched figure peers into its depths. As the crone speaks, her voice cackles like dry weeds. "At last you have arrived!" Cackling laughter bursts with the force of mad lightning from her withered lips. Come in. Well, if it isn't Uhtred, such a fierce story you have. I was sorry to see about your sister. It is so hard to tell what birthmarks mean, is it not? And you, Ingmar. Well, it's good to see the craft of Taroka is still being learned in the outside world. Little Thimble, you've come quite a long way, haven't you? And Boldovin, just as handsome as I thought you'd be. But with your blood, how could you not? You guys are a little creeped out as, you've never met this woman, and you saw no one entered her tent before you. She should not have known your names.
How do you know of us? Is that something the cards have tell you?
Yes, the cards, they tell me many things. including your names, your stories. The fact that you're here, your fates have become interwoven with Barovia. Come, take a seat with me. It is time that you see a true master of the cards at work. It is time.
You have had the gift for your whole life?
Oh, yes, and a long life it has been. Stanovan, get out of here! This is for myself and my new friends. As you wish, Madam Eva. I will be outside. Yes, go with your other friends. You all sit down around her table. I will do a true reading of the Taroka. I must warn you that magic in our realm is strange. It can be corrupted, divine, arcane, the magic of music, divinations, whatever have you. It can all be changed. But you must have faith in Madame Eva, yes? I will show you what the cards need you to see.
Please,
Logan
I
is
am,
on the edge of his seat.
I am eager to find out.
All
I
right.
think Uhtred's kind of taking everything, just taking everything in at the moment now. So
Sure.
he's a little bit untrusting at this point. So I mean, I think while we were kind of making our way into camp and we were kind of taking things around, checking things out. I mean, I don't know if one of the jokers that was with us maybe went in and gave her a heads up on who we were and gave us a quick rundown. So he's not really 100% that she's legit.
Yeah, very fair. It's hard to. I mean, there was so much activity when your kind of group of caravans met this group. It's hard to say anything with certainty.
Yeah, plus a bunch of gypsies.
Well, Romani, but
Same.
Vistani
Symbols.
is these ones. But
is,
as she pulls the first card, she tells you, "Come, the first three, the Ark. They are from the common deck. You know this, don't you, Ingmar?"
Of course.
This first card, it tells of history. Knowledge of the ancient will help you better understand your enemy. Ah, the thief. Of course. Give me 1 second. Why is... Sorry, my mom just tried to call me and it was very distracting. Alright.
Coolest thing you ever want to hear said when you're playing D&D with friends.
Yeah, for real. Fucking threw me off. So she's gonna draw the next one.
Fuck.
This card tells of a powerful force for good and protection. A holy symbol of great hope. And in the top of the arc, she draws the soldier. In the third slot of the arc, this right one, she tells you all, "This is a card of power and strength. It tells of a weapon of vengeance, a sword forged of pure sunlight." And with that, she draws the enchanter. All right. Then she's like, and of course, she kind of flicks her wrist, and the other half of the deck, the high deck, appears in her hand. Yes, yes, cards of great power indeed. This next card, it sheds light on one who will help you greatly in the battle against darkness. And with that, she draws the mists. And finally, your enemy. You know little of him now. He is a creature of darkness whose powers are beyond mortality. This card in the center of our array will lead you to him. Ah, the artifact. Alright. With that, she says, now, let us dive into these cards. The Troka deck hides many secrets, and it is up to people like me and your friend with the lovely green skin here to pluck those secrets from the void. Ah, the thief. Of course, of course. Let us see, let us see. What you seek lies at the crossroads of life and death among the buried dead. So what lies the crossroads among the buried dead? That was when she said that location would tell you a card of history, knowledge of the ancient that will help you better understand the enemy. And then the one about the holy symbol that she discussed is the soldier.
And are these the random ones that alter our game?
These do alter your game. I am not sure, like, wasn't sure which ones would be drawn. These are directly altering the fate of yourselves and the game right now.
I like that.
That's pretty cool.
To be honest, Bodovin didn't really understand any of that. He just kind of has a disappointed look on his face.
It's okay. It's all a little abstract right now.
I will explain later, my friend.
Ah, the soldier. Interesting. Go to the mountains. Climb the White Tower, guarded by the Golden Knights. There you will find this holy symbol I take.
Do you guys hear the ducks or the rooster ever?
I
No.
just heard a duck quack.
Do you have
Yeah.
ducks and a rooster?
Yeah, I get there by. Oh, I'm doing it at work, man. So I got there's like 20 ducks around me and a rooster who's crowing like crazy to get food.
It's a hefty amount of birds. All right. Well, we are back. And we are in the midst of our Taroka reading. All right. Let's get back into it. So did you guys hear any of where the sun sword was?
Yeah,
Okay,
and
that was the enchanter.
climb the white tower to get to the golden knight to find the holy symbol.
That
what you're talking about?
yes.
And did you just tell us exactly what was out there?
You don't know exactly what's there. This is all pretty cryptic.
You just said the sun sword.
Well, that's the least cryptic one, because she literally calls it that. Her exact words are
Okay.
a sword of pure sunlight.
Yeah, Bodevin's like way stoked about this and is like trying to engage Ingmar a little bit while he's trying to listen. You know, like, what do you think he meant by that, or what'd she mean?
And then, so she kind of pulls you guys back in. She's like, "Ah, yes, the Mists card. I haven't seen that one in a dog's age. Remember, this card will shed light on one who will help you greatly in the battle against darkness. A Vistana wanders this land alone, searching for her lost mentor. She does not stay in one place for long, but seek her out in Saint Markovia's Abbey, near the Mists. And of course, the middle card, the one in the seat of power, where your enemy, the one beyond mortality, this card will lead you to him. Ah, the artifact. He lurks in the darkness where the morning light once shone. A sacred place. With that, you swear you feel almost like a vibration rush through the air, like a pulse. And her eyes kind of roll back before settling back down. Ah, well, now you know, don't you? Now you know your fortunes. What do you guys say to Madame Eva?
This
Bodevin wants to know more about the sun
quite-
sword.
Alright, so Bowden wants to know about the sun sword. What were you going to say, Ingmar?
Just like I appreciate the reading, but it's quite cryptic, and I wish, I feel like a woman of your, I don't know, ability would be able to give us more information.
She kind of frowns and she's like, I gave you the information that you needed to hear. What you do with it, that's up to you.
Hi, lady. I'm inclined to agree with the orc here. And I do apologize if this sounds a bit rude, but instead of fortune, it sounds more like you're laying out a map for us.
As I said when you entered, your fate is now tied with Barovia's. If it feels like a map, that is because you are bound to the land. I have told you what you needed to hear. The first card, the thief, knowledge you need of the Ancient One. The second card, the holy symbol of great hope that you need. with the soldier climbing to the golden knights. The third, the sun sword, a sword of sunlight, pure in its powers. The enchanter. Remember, you must seek out the master of the marshes. The mists, the one who will help you. The Vistana who wanders this land seeking her mentor. She can help you against the darkness you face in this land. And of course, the central seat of the formation, where your enemy will be found when the time is right. You know that he lurks where the morning light once shone, a sacred place.
I don't like the idea that our fates are bound to this place. Essentially, what I'm hearing here is that because of our goodwill, we now lose our own free will.
The winds of fate are ever changing. Perhaps what is written is not always written in stone, but clay. It is malleable. But with this reading, I promise as clear a glimpse into your futures as I can manage. I would heed this advice, lest you stumble through the twilight that is our land.
And what about the future of the artifact there in the middle? Have you not seen his?
The future, the artifact. As I said, that is where your enemy, the cursed prince, that I believe my relative told you about. Seems he is to be found in a place that was once sacred.
Aye, and that's what I'm talking about. This cursed prince. And you're not just looking to his future, see what it holds. I'd make this a bit easier for all of us, yeah?
I wish it worked like that, but I do not believe it does.
Funny thing about magic. It only works when it's convenient, yeah?
I do not disagree. I make many gold from telling people what they want to hear, not even what is. But in this situation, I do believe the spirits are driving us towards this end. For what purpose or what happens, I do not know, but I believe it is something we should figure out together.
It does seem might curious that we were drawn to this location. As to whether or not there's any rhyme or rhythm to it, I couldn't tell you, but I do feel a strange pulling.
Well, I can't force you where to go. You can look out for what I have said. You may travel these lands, but be careful where you go. Strahd has eyes most everywhere.
Yeah, at this point, do we know that Strahd and the prince are the same person?
You had a briefest mention of his name with a guy telling that story about how Strahd fought a wizard. But her saying this would pretty much confirm it for you guys, especially those who did not hear the tale that Bodevar heard.
Yeah.
Bodevin,
Or Bodevin, not Bodevar.
kind
Sorry.
of asks. Bodevin asks about the sunlight in this place and where it's gone.
That I can hopefully explain a little without magic, without the need of the cards. By the will of the dark powers that fill these lands, the sun may never fully shine on Barovia. Even during the day, the sky is oft dimmed by fog or storm clouds, or even if the light is there, it is strangely muted. Barovian daylight is bright light, yet it is never true sunlight. Now and then we might catch a glimpse, a ray from the heavens. But it is just that, a glimpse, a fickle bit of hope. The sun itself does not really grace our lands.
Where's the White Tower?
The White Tower. Well, if you would like, I could. Here. She says something really quickly, almost don't catch it, but that young man who scouted earlier comes back in. He's like, of course. Here you go, Madam Ava, please. Take. I don't need it. And she is going to take a rolled up piece of paper and actually hand it to you guys. It's already in your journals. But she is going to hand you guys a rolled up map of Barovia.
Would Thimble have seen any? Because I was like, he would have been keeping his eye out for any signs of small wildlife. Like, because obviously by the body they were all gone. Did he see anything along the way?
Once you got farther away from that body, you think maybe that they were running from the dire wolves. The animal life here is certainly not as vibrant as it is on the Sword Coast, but there are animals. Like,
Okay.
you probably saw evidence of, like, some rabbits, chipmunks, small game, even some deer.
Okay.
Oh, I'd like to.
One of it is clearly. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say I'd like to take the letter that we got off the corpse and show it to the lady here. See what she makes of that.
She quickly goes through. Sorry, excuse me. She goes through the letter that you got off the dead man's body. She kind of. Yes. I wish I could say I was surprised. And I feel for the burgomaster's adopted daughter, this Irina. Only maybe the dark powers know why the vampire sought her out. But I don't have magics that might help her. I will say it sounds as though those of Barovia have, at least of the specific village of Barovia, have all but given up. Perhaps if you were to go there, you could restore some of their hope. They must be desperate for heroes, I imagine. You see, we Vistani, despite Strahd's dark hold over the land, he gives us more leeway. We travel. You met some of our folk outside of Barovia even. Most of the others here, the Barovians, well, some of them are people all the same, but they remain trapped in their bastions, their towns where they think it's safe. Some more shells than human. She kind of glances at some of you now, and she's like, and most of them are, well, all of them are humans. They will certainly see you as strange comers to this land.
Well, no offense, but in my experience, humans can be just as bad as anything that lurks in the shadows. Some even worse.
You are quite right. If you go, just keep in mind, they've been through a lot. The town of Barovia even more so than most. There is very little left of it now. But perhaps they can help direct you to the things you seek. Perhaps you asked about... Turns back to Bodovin. You asked about that tower that I spoke of. The white tower guarded by golden knights. I know not exactly where it
the
is.
sword.
Oh,
I think Ingmar asked about the tower.
Ingmar. Well, Perhaps you could find a clue there.
I think he just told me that he'll be right back. And we might have to move on.
Of course. Aye. You are all welcome to share our camp for the night. But I grow weary. The readings take more out of me than they used to. Everyone go ahead and give me an insight check on Madame Ava. The nat one for negative one's not giving you a lot.
No.
Although, actually, this was a bit of a harder check. Teague, you just barely passed this.
Oh man, thank goodness him
But-
and
I passed, fellas. That's the important part here.
Uhtred, you said, like you said when you first entered the town, you already had this bit of a suspicious vibe with Madame Ava, you know?
Yep.
And you think that she definitely used some power here. Like, this was more than just someone flipping cards over. Something magical did happen in this reading. Something of, divination. She's all the same, though. You realize she's putting on a bit of a front. She is old, for sure. That's not, fake. But she's definitely not as tired as she's letting on. She's this tired old woman act is just that. It's a bit of an act. She definitely has more up her sleeve than she is admitting right now.
Okay, so I wouldn't play my hand any differently. I would just kind of nod,
Okay.
and I was kind of just bid her a good night, and thank you for the information, grandmother. You do look a little bit weary. Why don't you go lie down, rest your bones?
You're such a kind boy, Uhtred. I'm gonna say that insight check. You see her eyes flash towards you. She doesn't know that you're seeing through her right now, but she suspects. She is very wily, so she's kind of playing up, like you called her this grandmother. She's playing it up a little bit, but she's definitely thinking like, "What is this guy? What's he thinking?" But you guys are welcome to either, the Vistani have kind of extended this invitation for you guys to camp with them. You don't have to. You could go out in the wilderness and make your own camp. What do you guys think you would do?
I'd like to have a quick chat with the group here.
Okay.
But I think what I would do is I would like to see if our little gnome friend could maybe go in and whisper to one of the horses, have them make a ruckus, just so that there's a little bit of distraction. Because my at first pass, I'm gonna say that there's eyes and ears all over the camp, and I would want to try and maybe keep our conversation as private as we could.
Fair.
So all about that, and that's what I was wanting to do was send Thimble out and kind of just go around and talk to some animals, but they have to be small.
Okay. So
Okay.
you can't talk
I'd say you could find some small animals, like there's frogs, some like salamanders by the river. You could definitely talk to them if you're trying to like get hype them up to cause a ruckus with the horses.
Another thing too, we didn't talk about. So how well do we know each other already from the group? Do we just want to just?
I believe the vibe we discussed a little bit before. You guys do certainly know each other. You've worked together before when the Duchess kind of hired you all as contractors. Your little speech earlier, that's probably the most they know about you in terms of your backstory, though.
The way I had it, and the way we had it kind of thought out was like you and the Warlock would know each other more, and then me and the other casters would know each other a bit more. So it's not like we're all best friends, but we know each other, and you might trust that one other over the others much quicker, which would make sense if the Warlock could talk to animals. You would be able to like, oh, I trust him more because you two have worked together closer.
Yeah, I'd say you were likely sent on a few more missions with Thimble than other people.
Okay. That makes sense. What languages does Thimble speak? You speak Gnomish, right? 'Cause you're a gnome.
Yeah, common, gnome, and abyssal.
Common,
Okay.
gnome, abyssal. What does Uhtred speak?
Uhtred speaks Gnomish, Elvish, Common, Infernal, Undercommon, and Void.
Oh, good God, so many. Hell
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So, Thimble, do you want to kind of go try to talk to those animals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I'd like to do is I'd like to kind of say it in Gnomish, right? Because so that I feel a little bit more comfortable that it's just him and I talking.
Oh yeah.
And I'm assuming that no one else around knows. So I think in Gnomish, what I would say is, Thimble, go and have a chat with the worms. And well, I've never tried Gnomish before, but in my mind, it would kind of sound something like, it's Gadisa.
Yeah. I think it's very like it got a lot of like glottal like stopping like
Yeah.
that. Maybe it sounds a bit fanciful almost like a bit happy. And you can tell. I mean, the Vistani, they're travelers, but like they're largely from here right now, and there's no gnomes in Barovia, so they don't appear to be understanding you. Anyone that's nearby. All
So,
yes.
so what do you want me to do?
We'll just go find something to talk to. See what you can find out about these people and kind of anything to corroborate the old lady's story.
Yeah. I would say so. What's your ability that's letting you talk to them? Is it just like a gnomish thing?
Forest gnomes have speak with small beasts.
Oh, that's dope. Okay. Yeah, I'll say you spend a little bit going around. And as you kind of get by the river, you find some like really big, like bassy toads. And as you start to talk, one of the ones just like, "Who are you?"
Hi, I'm Thimble Snigglefritz guy. Who are you?
I'm Thora.
That is a really awesome wart you got there. You should be really proud of that guy.
Thank you. I practiced for many hours.
So I'm new. You probably could tell that right now.
Yeah, you
look
crazy. I've never seen anything like you.
Thank you. I work on my hair a lot. We're me and my buddies are new here, and we're just trying to figure out what's going on here and who all these people really are.
Like the people in this camp?
Yeah, are they nice people? Are they terrible people? Are they liars?
They're people. I don't hang out with people.
Have you seen any other people besides them here?
The toad kind of like shakes its head, like, no. The colorful ones, kind of like does like a head nod toward the all the Vistani. This their home.
Have you seen any of the dire wolves or anything like that run around lately, or close by?
The big wolves. Yes,
Yeah,
I
those
see
guys.
them. I see a lot.
Are they nearby right now?
Oh, I hope not.
So we're looking for this really evil guy. Are there other animals working for him? Like scouting for him, doing stuff like that?
No. Give me a sense motive check.
Okay. Let's see. Would that be just a insight?
Oh, sorry. I said sorry. That was Pathfinder speak. Yes, it's insight.
Well, shit.
Oh, this is the most trustworthy fucking toad you ever talked to. And you've talked
Dude,
to
I
a
love
lot of
toads.
toads.
Yeah, and they are always, they've never led me astray.
Yeah, they're always on the up and up for sure.
This guy's the shit. Well, thanks, buddy.
You're welcome. Is there anything else?
I don't think so. You have a good day. And keep those flies up, huh?
Okay.
Oh, I got one more question. This guy Strahd, where is he? And how do we kill him?
I don't. Name's hard. You're kind of blowing this frog's mind just with the concept that like people have names right now.
All right, you get back to eating flies, buddy. Then I'll leave him alone.
Okay, he like hops back in the river, like looks a little confused. So are you trying to? I think you guys were talking about like making kind of like a diversion here. I would say if you could make a check on some small animals around here, you might be able to like entice them into making a fuss with the horses, if that makes sense.
So Thimble would be. He's not really about that. Like that would definitely like get one of the small guys. He doesn't want to get any of the toads stepped on or nothing.
They might get squished, yeah.
Yeah, he's not about that.
Okay, fair enough.
But I would go back and just relay everything I just heard to the boys.
Right? He recounts this like short, weird conversation with Thor the Toad.
And he doesn't know where Strahd is, guys. I asked.
I'd like to take a just take like a glance around just to make sure that we are speaking in private.
Sure. Say, give me a perception check. See if you can spot anyone kind of trying to eavesdrop on you.
Just a normal.
Just straight normal perception.
That was persuasion.
Perception, not persuasion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The 14. It doesn't seem like they're paying much attention to you. You think a lot of the people who just came in are like celebrating with their friends who stayed back at the camp.
Well, fellas, certainly sounds like the plot just got a bit thicker. Although I think that the majority of grandmother's story was genuine, but I think she might have a little bit another motive. Kind of hard to read, being a card reader, or what do you call it? A fortune teller and all.
Yeah.
No offense, Hark.
None taken. It is. It's clear to see that you are correct. I believe she is hiding something from us. If she was as all-powerful as she imagined she says she was, why did they not see this course coming a long time ago?
Aye.
But there is something here, something palpable that I believe we are meant to see and do. But do keep your eyes peeled, as I do not trust the travelers or the Vistani as much as I would have liked.
I agree with you too.
Very well.
Matter of fact, I think maybe if we set camp, we should go a little bit away from these fellows for a bit, and then we put a guard.
Hell yeah.
I will dive into my own readings this evening to see what I can find out.
All right.
Yeah, I think it'd be smart. Try and see what you can tell from the cards there. And Thimble, you got no word from your pets?
No, the toads. I'll try to look for some birds. They get to see more of what's going on. I'll ask them.
That's a good point.
Aye.
Toads kind of stick to like one spot, if you know what I'm saying. They're not well traveled.
Yeah. Try and tempt them with a little bit of well, I don't know, anything that you don't talk to that you wouldn't mind someone eating.
Now that, no, they're friends, not food.
It's just the nature of things, little guy.
Birds are friends, not food.
I didn't mean to go full Bruce right there, but it came out.
Yeah, the Bruce is strong right now. Okay.
So are we gonna take a rest like now, since we're setting up camp? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, you guys can. I'd say you
Yeah.
still have some hours of daylight left if you want to try to get a bit closer to the town of Barovia, if that's where you're headed.
Didn't they tell us to like get away from the town of Barovia though?
That's what the letter said. But then you guys
Are
are
there
questioning
people
her.
there
about-
though?
She says there are people. Madame Ava said there are people there. She said to be kind to them because, compared to a lot of others, the people in like the actual town of Barovia have been hit very hard over this. However long this ordeal has plagued Barovia, which you guys still don't have a exact date of when this all started yet.
How do they feel about other races? Because so far all we've seen are other humans, right? The Vistani are just a race of humans, a variant.
Yeah, the Vistani are just human. And so she did clarify to you that all Barovians are human. Like there are no other native species in Barovia besides human.
Gotcha. Gotcha. With that in mind, I would say like if we still have some time left, let's do head a little closer to Barovia. I mean, it keeps us outside of camp, like we talked about anyways, and closer towards like being with other people and me figuring out where this white tower is, where we want to go first. And once we find camp, I can do a reading, we can do guard shit, and then just kind of go from there.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
You guys you down with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
All right. As you guys are kind of setting up this camp, probably maybe move about 45 minutes, an hour away from the Vistani camp, so you should have like your own clearing. If you're setting a watch order, what is the order?
I'll take first.
Okay. So Uhtred's got first.
Yeah, both of them will volunteer. Like, I guess they're probably having the conversation on the way over to set up the camp, and Bodovin volunteers to go second. And the entire time on the way over, he's continuously just kind of like talking about how it's wrong to block out the sunlight. Like, he's just saying things like your soul and your heart are connected to the light, and just like kind of background noise for everybody. Everybody's trying to rest, and amongst this, he was definitely, wanting to volunteer and had a great attitude about it.
Just very personally offended by the darkness of this place.
Absolutely.
Just a blank map. All right,
So I
so you're taking
Thimble
second then,
will
Bodovin. Who's third?
Thimble can go third.
Okay, and then Ingmar, you're last.
Yep.
All right.
Before we settled down for the night, as soon as we got to the camp, Thimble would want to do like a perimeter, like just walk around like couple hundred yards into the woods and try to cut a track, see if there's any other big animal, like the dire wolves are in the area or anything else in the area.
Sure. I'd say give me either a nature check if you're looking for animals, or just straight perception check.
Oh shit. Another one.
God
Jeez.
damn. You are not like nature in Barovia is weird. It's not fucking throwing you off at all.
Hell yeah.
Thimble's just accounting for every possible variant here.
Owning this shit.
You would know that there's evidence that there are dire wolves in these woods. But it seems like they have a very wide roaming pattern. It's not very likely that they're going to come towards you, if that makes sense. Like they have a large personal territory.
Okay. How old was the track?
Probably at least a day and a half old within that 20 you would know.
Alrighty. What other animals were in the area?
In terms of just like you also find some regular wolf tracks, first of all. You would also find a lot of small game, like rabbits. You even find some deer tracks as well. You do find there are boot prints around as well. And you do find some prints. I'm gonna say on Nat 20, you notice that at one point when you're looking at some direwolf tracks, you're looking at some wolf tracks, you see a rather disturbing track, just a few of them before they vanish in the undergrowth, of prints that seem to be elongated, like human feet, but with wolf claws.
So, I know what I'm thinking immediately. Would Thimble be able to put 2 and 2 together?
I'd say if that's the conclusion you're jumping to, it's probably the conclusion Thimble is jumping to.
Okay, so... Alright, is there anything else I'm seeing?
I would say that's pretty much it with that check.
Okay. Well, then I would kind of scurry back and relay my fears about a werewolf in the area. Being around and to keep an eye out. And if anyone's got some silver to cough it up.
I don't know if anyone has any silver.
Okay.
All right.
No. We're low.
I did want to buy, and once again, I apologize. Things have been a little bit busy. I did want to buy the Monster Hunters pack.
I think with your starting gold, you'd have had enough. Let me check. I don't know the exact price of that one.
It's 33.
I would say honestly, thematically, that you probably would have rolled high enough anyway on that money that you could get the Monster Hunter pack.
Okay.
If it's just 30, that seems pretty likely. Let's see. Chest, crowbar, hammer.
I didn't roll for starting cash.
I would say I'm pretty sure like average for your class is like 40 something.
Yeah.
So I feel like likely you would have gotten 30. So I'll let that one slide.
Cool.
Okay. So as you guys are out here,
And I'm sorry, one last question. I
Yes.
apologize
No,
for
go ahead.
interrupting you. So as far as the supernaturals, what are the rules behind them? Granted, I understand that there's some things we have to find out in character, but are we to assume that the things that we know in IRL will apply to these beings? For instance, with the with the werewolves, right? What's the lore?
like would you guys as people, like as characters, think about like silver and like holy symbols for vampires, that kind of shit?
Yeah, like and would it actually work?
I would say you as a vampire hunter would at least know some of those things. I'd say the silver is a pretty common myth, and especially in this area of the Sword Coast, that you guys would think like, oh, lycanthropes, silver will hurt them worse than we can hurt them.
Yeah.
Um,
There's stuff too about vampires not being able to cross running water and stuff like that. So I was just kind of wondering, because I was doing some research on my own, just looking at just these old myths and legends,
like
and
old
stuff
vampire
like
stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So I was just wondering how much of that would actually translate, but I didn't want to. I've got the book, but I didn't want to crack it open because I don't want to ruin anything. But
That's fair. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I was just wondering how much of that are we to assume is legit.
I mean, so
Go.
I don't know. All I was gonna say is that's part of what we have for for our skills. So for like you with the high wisdom, you're going to be able to detect a lot more of that than we will. And there's also skills like you'll be able to, like, there's a spell that I can cast that will give me magical enhance to tell exactly what this creature's weakness is and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's basically what I was gonna say. Is it'll come down to rolls in the moment. The way that I often picture, both in Pathfinder or 5e or any other game, when there's common monsters like vampires and stuff, you probably have heard so many legends, you're not quite sure which ones are true, if that makes sense. Like I know, like I've definitely read like novels like a vampire is like, oh, that garlic thing, that's bullshit. It doesn't actually hurt us. Oh,
Yeah.
but fuck, running water, maybe that'll really hurt us. So
Yeah.
you probably just have like so much vampire lore as your character that like it'll require checks more in the moment to be like, okay, is me shoving a cross in this vampire's face gonna do something, or is that just gonna be me getting my hand bit off because it's not true.
Right.
But yeah, basically, yeah, it'll come down to some skill rolls. So I think, like, in character, about a lot of those myths that you're talking about having read IRL, and it'll just be kind of, like, determining which of the myths apply.
Okay, cool. Gotcha.
Yes, okay.
And then telling the rest of us in that moment what we need to do.
Yeah, and then hopefully letting the party know. I would hope. Okay, so nothing happens during the first 3 shifts, but Ingmar, I'm gonna need you to roll perception check. Okay. No doubt. Okay. Well, if you guys have them on your sheets ready, please drag your tokens on out. I see. I think most people have them ready. Just drag them out about into the center right here.
Oh no, I thought that's why we gave them to you.
No, it's okay. I can add yours in really quick if you want. Give me a sec. Actually, while I'm setting up the tokens for what's about to happen, if you just hit edit and then just hit click to upload on Avatar, you can just put your picture in.
Yeah, no, I got that.
I was just working on that, and I just pulled up Teague's character sheet when he got. So I think you were going to beat me to it, but I was pulling that up just in case.
All right. Okay.
Also, real quick, before we get into this, last night I would have. Actually, I'll just do it the next. Never mind. We'll continue for now. We're good.
Okay.
Leave it alone.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah, moments.
Okay, so everyone else is currently asleep, except for Ingmar. But Ingmar, unfortunately, you do not see this creature until it's too late, as it pounces on you next to the tent. And judging by its massive size, you would assume that this is in fact a direwolf.
Oh no, it's a giant toad.
I'm sorry, I can't pull my token over.
Here, let me try. Give me one sec. There we go. Okay. So we'll assume you guys are kind of just, loose formation around maybe like a campfire or something. God, I need some water. I've been doing too much old lady voice. All right. So it is going to be flat-footed isn't really a thing in this version. I know I've been playing a lot of Pathfinder lately. But this is, you are surprised right now, so you can't take a reaction as Ingmar. So this thing is basically going to run up out of the woods, get close, and I think I set this so you guys can see the roll, but we'll see. Stream should be able to see it. It is basically going to lunge forward and try and bite you, Ingmar.
Which should not be too hard.
Horrendous roll. I assume a 9 does not hit.
No, that does not hit.
However, though, it does have advantage from chat from a long time ago for the first fight of the game.
Lame as hell.
So it's going to bite you for 9, and then we're going to roll for initiative. As the wolf lunges out of nowhere, just... Seems this one has stumbled away from the rest of the pack, however. So thankfully it does not look like a whole swarm of dire wolves are descending on your camp. Although, surprisingly for getting the drop on you, I think it thought Ingmar was a little bit, too delicious, because its initiative roll was bad. Well, bad until I just saw Uhtred's. And then who's not in?
Bodovin?
Oh, Bodovin. Yeah, you just gotta make sure you click your token before you do the initiative. Why is your token like...
Okay.
Token's tripping me out. I don't know why it's like squeezed.
It's a bit squeezed.
Okay. Anyway, I'll just manually add you this time. Hold on.
Okay.
So you got a 9. That's another thing I like about the tabletop plugin I got, is that it automatically sorts the initiative, so I don't have to hit sort every time. All right. So yeah, no check needed. A loud direwolf that is like 800 pounds biting your teammate. All of you wake up. So Thimble, to stand up in 5e, it's going to cost half of your movement. And I believe. And
I got
Thimble's
25,
25, right?
it's
So
25.
we'll just say it's going to cost 10.
Okay. So he's gonna stand up.
Okay.
And he's gonna shoot a short bow at him.
You stand up oh fuck Jesus, and pull out the short bow. Thunk. Goes flying forward into this direwolf. That is a 19. That is going to be a hit. So if you just click where it says short bow, it should activate the damage.
Jesus, who's that fella?
6 damage. Arrow just thunk, lodges into the direwolf as it lets out this. Kind of looks at this much smaller prey that it was kind of ignoring at first, but is now very pissed at.
It's like, shit! And he's gonna run 15 feet back.
Hell yeah. You use the remainder of your movement to just piece the fuck out of there. I'm going to do some wolf battle music here. Ingmar. Ingmar, what are you at right now after that initial bite?
I'm down to 0 hit points.
Okay, so that is going to knock you unconscious.
Yeah, I know.
So basically, you guys see Ingmar as the teeth just sink into his side, his eyes roll up in his head, and he collapses. That means you're going to have to make a death save as Ingmar. So if you look at under, there's 3 little bubbles, success and failures. If you just click death saves, it'll roll it automatically. Kind of right under where the hit point totals are.
Yep.
Okay, so that's 1 failure. You need 3 failures to die. I will say the only difference is someone's getting spicy with their fucking Eldritch.
Didn't mean to click that. I was trying to look at it.
No, you're fine. If you get a nat 20 on that, Ethan, it automatically gets you back up at 1 HP, but a nat 1 is 2 fails.
Gotcha.
That being said, anyone can either try to heal you, or if they do a medicine check, they can also try to stabilize you. So that's going to be Ingmar's turn. Bodavin.
Bodavin, he needs to be on his feet to cast the spell. Am I correct on that?
I believe you can do it from the ground, actually.
Okay.
But whether you want to stay on the ground, which might give the wolf advantage if he's biting you while you're lying down, which is not ideal.
Well, just kind of out of nowhere, because he's startled out of his sleep. He's been having dreams recently. All sorts of crazy things, and he was startled out of one of these dreams, and he wakes up just kind of speaking in tongues, some sort of other language, and casts Word of Radiance.
Ooh, what does that do?
It is, you utter a divine word, and burning radiance erupts from you. Each creature of your choice that you can see within range must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or take 1d6 radiant damage.
Alright. Kind of conjure this strange glow. Normally, when you're out by Daggerford, it glows like a beautiful white light, right? Here, even that seems muted. It's almost like glowing motes of darkness are what surrounds the wolf.
Oh wait, hold on just a second. I don't think I can cast that because it's a 5-foot range. And I
Oh,
can't
okay.
See that. My apologies.
I don't know what that link was for.
Tried to click on the description, but it did not give me the description.
Oh, it's probably because I don't have that pack, I assume. Yeah, okay, there you go. Yeah, that's what it is.
All right.
Okay, do you want to
similar
cast
sort of
a
scenario?
different thing? Yeah, go ahead.
Similar sort of scenario, but instead he's going to cast his cantrip, Sacred Flame.
Hell yeah. All right, so that's going to be a dex save for half, I believe. Let's roll dex save. Oh, sorry, I double tapped it. So he's gonna take 1 damage from that Sacred Flame.
Damn.
That is the dire wolf.
Great start.
It is what's it going to do?
Oh, and he's going to stand up using his movement.
Okay. He is going to run over and try to attack Uhtred.
Now on that, oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
There you go. You can go ahead and you can go do his attack.
12.
Yep, that's gonna hit.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry, it doesn't hit. My AC is 14.
Okay. You dodge out of the way of the dire wolf as his teeth kind of just snap shut in midair in front of you. That is his
Now-
full turn.
So I get so when he moved close to me. Well, no, I guess that doesn't invoke an attack of opportunity, right? Because he was moving to me, not past me.
Yeah. So the way attacks opportunities work in 5e is they have to be running away from you, with a few exceptions.
Okay.
yeah.
So with the Sacred Flame that that was just cast, is there like any smoldering embers or anything like that on the wolf's fur?
I would say so. Some of his fur is probably still smoking a bit here.
Okay. I'd like to take a flask of oil from my Monster Hunter's pack and throw it on him and see if I can ignite that flame.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna say. Do you have any ranged weapons on your character sheet right now?
I do. I got a longbow.
I would say, because you're kind of improving this a little bit, we're gonna do a longbow. So we'll roll the longbow and we'll subtract 2.
Okay.
And I have a DC in my head that you're trying to hit as you're trying to target that specific smoking spot.
Oh.
That's not gonna do it though on an @1 on an attack roll. You take the oil and it just is a little slick on the glass as your hands are sweating, and it just sails off and smashes on a tree.
Oh my gosh. Look, that makes up my dex is 19. Why do I roll a flippin'? That's horrible.
That was rough. That was a rough first roll. I'm not gonna lie.
Jesus Christ.
Thimble, what are you doing here?
So, Thimble, now that he's kind of like not just scared shitless about what's going on, he's gonna rip off an Eldritch Blast.
Oh, that's a
And
crit.
there
It's
you
gonna
go.
be doubled. Is that your like 4th nat 20 of tonight? Jesus.
Yeah, like
I've
what
been
is this
rolling
guy?
real good.
This guy.
Thimble's the luckiest gnome ever. Holy shit. Okay, so I mean, yeah, that's gonna hit 24. This wolf's not clad in like epic full plate. Click the Eldritch Blast letters, the word, and it'll double the damage automatically. Oh, holy shit. Thimble stands up. It's still kind of dark out, but you guys see the whole area of your campsite, like this clearing, begins to glow with a faint purple light as just this ball of like kinetic energy forms in Thimble's hands and boom, lashes out, and you can hear the bones in the direwolf's chest just crack from the impact of this force damage. Just definite broken ribs upon contact. 15 damage. That seems to have been like more than half of the health it had left in one shot. Although I will say after that crit, it does turn towards Thimble, just like definitely eyeing you up for a bite.
Oh shit. He's definitely gonna move back here a bit.
Okay, Ingmar, go ahead and make a death save.
No, I'm sending a message.
Sending out an SOS.
That is a success. That's one success. You got this rad concert going on in your head right now as you're, full loopy as your blood is just draining into the forest floor. But that is one success. So you have one success and one failure. Your heart remains beating another round. Bodavin, my squeezed friend.
Bodavin just kind of continues to mutter things in this trance. and slowly, as he's backing up away from the direwolf, casts Bless on his 3 companions.
Oh, hell yeah.
Did it pop up?
Do up to 3 creatures. So you kind of pull out this vial of holy water, and as you like toss it up in the air, it almost turns to mist before the mist settles on your allies. So before making attack roll or saving throw, you can add a D4. Not bad. Not especially right now. Alright, you do that, kind of book it back towards our lovely warlock back here. The direwolf, big mad at Thimble, is going to just run through the party to get over to you. Because he ran away from you, Uhtred, that is, if you have a melee weapon, you can up attack him.
Cool. Yep, I will use my short sword.
Alright, pull that short sword out. Going for a stab here. That is going to be a little bit too short on his armor class. You kind of try to go in, and he just... Not that the blade doesn't cut him necessarily, but he kind of just shoulder charges you over. All right. And it is going to go in with a bite on you, Thimble. What is your AC?
AC is 14.
All right, let's see what happens. 16, it's going to be a hit for 12, which I believe is going to down you.
Oh, yeah, he's down.
He just grabs you in your jaws, you're so small, just and just shakes you back and forth. I will say he's looking very bloodied right now. This wolf is not looking good. Uhtred.
All right. So everybody's dying.
You can also, if you want to go stabilize one, you can make a medicine check. DC 10 on either of them to try to stabilize them.
Longbow.
Okay. You pull out that, you kind of sheathe the sword. I'm gonna say this is all kind of your movement action right here. Pull out this big longbow, line up the shot, and go for it.
Give me something good.
Oh, it's close because he's a big dude,
God.
but 11's not gonna do it.
What the?
Roll 20 and bring it back up, man. Just hit refresh or something.
You're looking for. I'll be honest, you're looking for like a 12 right now. Is what you're trying to hit.
Yeah, like I don't know what's going on. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Hold on. You have
Curse on your computer.
You can use the bless to add.
Oh, that's true.
To
Add the D4 from the bless.
Oh yeah, there you go. Boom, boom. Yes, that's why I did
And it's a 12. I don't think you can fail. Yeah, there you go. Your arrow. It's dark out. You're trying to line up the shot. This is a fast-moving wolf in the middle of the night, and a little bit of sparkling light coats your arrow from that mist, and just boom! The arrow curves in midair, piercing through 2 of those ribs that were already broken by the warlock. For 11 damage. This thing looks like pretty much any hit from it you guys would finish it off right now. Thimble, this is gonna be your first death save. That is a success. 1 success.
Yay!
Ingmar, you have 1 success, 1 failure currently. Two failures, 1 success. If he fails 1 more time, he's gonna die, guys. Someone might have to help him. Bodavin.
Bodavin looks down at the wolf, grips his crystal, and says, "Be blessed by the light." And the light erupts from his mouth, blasting the
This kind of
direwolf.
angelic chord of
Hopefully.
belts out just right in the wolf's eyes. You know, nocturnal animal does not enjoy this at all. Is a bit of a conny boy, so we're gonna go for the con roll and see what happens. He is gonna make it. It's gonna be only 1 damage.
Man, this thing will wobble, but it won't fall down.
It's looking real, but you can see it's literally staggering. It's got those broken ribs from the bolt. You know, it's been singed. It's had this light in its eyes. Your fucking arrow is still sticking out of its flank. It's not looking good. All right. It is going to. Let's see. What's the motivation here? Down to 1. I'm actually going to roll a % chance here. It might just try to bail. Because it is literally down to 1 HP. Okay. It is going to try to sprint off towards the rest of its pack and leave you guys here. I rolled on the just random cardinal directions. Its pack is north. So it's actually going to run past both of you guys who are up. So if... do you have a melee weapon out, Bodavin? Because I know you're casting spells.
No, I don't.
Okay. I'm gonna say since you have your bow out, you know what? I'll allow it. I'm gonna say if you take a -2 penalty, you can try to draw your short sword real quick and stab it.
For both of us? Fast within...
Just for you, because I don't think Bodavin has like any melee weapons.
Okay, so just short sword. I can't.
He's got some daggers that he can have on him.
Okay. I'll say if you want to take the -2, you can do a dagger. It's your first monster. I'll allow it.
He's not very good with the dagger, so...
12 is exactly what you need to hit this guy's AC, so... 18 as well. You guys both lunge and stab in. Roll your damages. Alright, we got 4. And on the dagger...
Did that do it?
you just want to... Where it says the word dagger, you just click the word dagger in the chat stream.
Yeah, no, he...
Sorry, dude.
Oh, no,
But I
he
think
did
that
the-
4 is going to do it. Like that. So you guys stab it from either side. This thing slides across the dirt just in the dust right now. Uhtred, you have 2 teammates who are down. You gonna go try to medicine one of them?
Yeah, I will, I'll try. Oh, Ingmar. How do you say your name, Ethan? Ingmar?
Yeah, Ingmar.
Ingmar. Okay. Alright, so what is that, 1d4? Or no, we're doing medicine check?
You can add a 1d4 from Bless right now. And it's going to be medicine. So medicine plus a d4. You're trying to exceed a 10 right now. Oh, smashed it. He's stable. Alright. Thimble, go ahead and make a death save. Alright, that is a failure. I believe you're on 1 success, 1 failure.
Yep.
Ingmar, you're stable. You are no longer dying. Bodavin, do you want to try to medicine him as well?
Yeah, Bodavin kind of nicely bends down, places his hand on his chest and says, "Be blessed by the light," again, and uses his healing hands. And did that pop up? I clicked on it. If not, I
didn't
can
pop
read
up yet, but what does it do?
Okay. It's not working. So it says that as an action, you can touch a creature and cause it to regain a number of hit points equal to your level. Once you use this trait, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. So it's not much at this point, but here's 1 hit point.
Well, effectively, you actually can't go negative in 5e, so that brings them back up to 1.
Well, alrighty then.
So Thimble is conscious again. As just
What's an instant death? Because I know you can do that. It's like what?
you can do an
times-
instant death.
Twice
Sorry.
your HP?
Yeah, so basically, it's got to do like twice your HP into the negatives.
Oh,
so
okay,
like,
gotcha.
so like if you're 10, it would have to do 30 damage in 1 hit to kill you instantly,
Gotcha.
which is very, very difficult. But with that, you guys kill a direwolf. That was actually one of the harder encounters there. So you guys are going to get more XP than you normally would from 1 direwolf. Everyone's going to get 200 XP for the character.
I like putting numbers in my XP bank.
What?
As do I. So are we out of combat?
We are out of combat now, yeah.
Alright.
But you guys, yeah. Go
First,
ahead.
I'm going to make sure that Ingmar here is okay. I'm going to help him to his feet. Make sure he's stable.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and we are gonna. There are certain hardcore things I will be implementing, like the madness system in Strahd. I'm not gonna implement the hardcore health rule, which is that you don't regain full health on a long rest. After completing this long rest, you guys get your full health back.
Perfect. And then short rest, we just use our hit die, right?
Yeah, so short rest, you use your hit die. So right now you guys just have one hit die. Basically, when you take a short rest, you can choose to roll that die. And I believe it's also plus your level as well, if I recall. But there's literally a button that does it. So like, if it was a short rest, you would just scroll down your hit dice, hit where it says hit dice, and it'll roll that for you.
Perfect.
But this is a long rest, so you do get your health back. So presumably, like Utra, you're kind of tend to their wounds through the night. They do recover. This was a deadly attack, but you guys do stave off the wolf.
Okay, I want to go and look at this wolf a bit more. I want to make sure that it is, in fact, a dire wolf and not a werewolf, right? I want to make sure it's not like a supernatural being.
Yeah, sure. Give me a. I would say, that it's not supernatural.
Yeah.
In that case, I would say give me a Arcana check. You're pretty confident this is just a dire wolf. Like, it's big. It's a big ass wolf, but it doesn't seem to be like a werewolf or anything.
What's your take on this one here, Thimble?
Yeah, Thimble, you want a nat 20? I'll allow, because you've been killing with nature rolls, I'll allow a nature roll from Thimble on this one. See if you can keep the trend up. Nope, sure can't.
That's
I don't know shit
negative
about fuck.
Thimble looks at it and is just thinking in his head, like, I have never seen a wolf this fucking big in my life. Holy hell.
Well, here's what I'd like to do. So I'd like to do two things.
Yep.
For starters, I'm going to cut off one of its paws, and I will keep that. But then also, I'd like to cut open its stomach to see what it's been feeding on.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, I'm gonna say, first of all, yeah, you can cut off a paw. I mean, you guys have the rest of the night. That's not that difficult. You have knives. In terms of what it is feeding on, okay, I'm gonna say
Size gnomes.
I'm gonna say that's either gonna be a medicine or a nature check as you try to like, kind of cut the stomach open and do it in such a way, and then sort through what's in there.
Well, I mean, I am a ranger.
I mean that, yeah. Hey, it could certainly work. Nature, I'd say you like accurately cut open the stomach here.
Mm-hmm.
Don't damage anything inside. So in that case, it's gonna be another nature roll to like analyze it. Basically, it's like one to make sure you don't fuck it up on the way out. All right, 10.
So
Jesus Christ, Teague.
I put those together. I know, man. Like, I don't know what's going on with my rolls here. Like, my
It's not
stats
Curse of Strahd, it's Curse of your fucking game right now, man.
Curse of Strahd's supposed to be hard, but not for this reason. Not this. This is not the reason.
That's what I get for bad mouthing the gypsy lady, right?
Yeah, you definitely the Vistani have cursed you for sure. I will say you would know. You don't know a lot of what it's been feeding on. At the very least, it has been feeding on Barovians. You can find like bits of a hand, bits of an arm. It's definitely fed on people.
You see this here, Thimble?
You see this here. You like pull like a whole index finger.
He's like, hold on, let me come around. And he's gonna walk around the wolf so you can see what you're talking about.
So big.
Dude, he's so small.
It's a man-eater, and as if I remember correctly, these things are likely to travel in packs. So we might want to do ourselves a favor and get some elevated bedding if we start camping down. Might not give us 100%. Might not protect us 100%, but it'll give us a little bit of having the higher ground can't hurt anything. And here, keep this with you. I throw him the paw from the wolf.
He's gonna drop it. Like he's not even gonna try to catch it. He's gonna like kind of brush it off. Like he wants nothing to do with cutting up wolves and animals.
All right, can't say I didn't try to help you.
Fair. All right. It says a pretty good point. Normally, I try to take 2 breaks through our sessions. One's usually about 10:20, 10:30. So I think let's take a 5-minute bathroom break here. Seems like a good pausing point to kill the wolf, and we'll come back after that.
Perfect.
Awesome.
For those watching, I'm going to run a quick ad, and we'll be back with you in 5 minutes.
All right, see you guys in a bit.
Drew, figure out when we're gonna do the Agnar wedding party.
Oh my god.
I just unmuted us, but I'm working on writing it. It's been a chaotic time in Ben the DM's life.
I know, totally know it has. I just love that. I want to play Cantham again really bad.
I do have. I just ripped part of the gauntlet I was wearing. These big muscles. Just kidding. It's a shitty gauntlet. No, I do have a Google Doc that I've been going through. I have some good ideas for it.
Anthem is definitely going to officiate.
Adorable.
I mean, really, who else would?
That's honestly so cute. I love that.
As the leader of Sandpoint, and
yeah,
of course he'd officiate. He's the leading government official there.
But will the wedding go off without a hitch? We'll have to find out.
We will find out next time.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
What if her mom comes back and I claim her? I'm like, hey, I remember you. Wink, wink.
Oh, the succubus that tried to fuck you to death.
You really thrown me over last time.
Yeah, she really screwed you.
Hey guys,
bro.
I need a few more minutes. Okay?
A few more minutes? Yeah, you're good. We'll just shoot the shit. You're fine. I think we're gonna wrap closer to 11 today. Exciting news. I'm sure exciting for no one but me, but they're finally lifting some of the COVID restrictions at my school. So the parents are gonna actually get to come drop their students off in my classroom. But man, tomorrow's gonna be so hectic because of it. Some of the parents of my students straight up haven't met me in person or seen my classroom.
Nice.
Freaking wild. Let me pause this wolf fight music. We do not need to be fighting wolves anymore.
I like how it's just sword on swords, and there was no sword on sword action. It was all sword in flesh.
It is wild that I didn't even think about that. Yeah, well, that's part of the. I have a bunch of the full Strahd mega pack, right? And one of them is the random encounter file, and one of them is wolf and werewolf encounters. I didn't even think about that. They would fully be using claws. Why is sword clash one of them? I guess a werewolf could have a sword, right? But I feel even a hybrid form werewolf would. I'd still, if I was a werewolf, I'd be going in with some claws.
Yeah.
I am gonna do a reading when we get back, though. I wanted to do Ingmar. Yeah, Ingmar wanted to do a reading before that evening. So when we get back, I want Ingmar to kind of do a reading about the group, and then specifically, just kind of one for each of us individually, and then the group to kind of figure out just for fun backstory stuff, or just I'm gonna make shit up, but I'm actually gonna draw them.
Yeah, I'm down. Do you have an actual deck with you?
No, if you go to taroka.com.
Oh, it's a pretty straightforward website. I'm down with that. I can make it. Can I give you control of one of the decks? Hold on. Do you want the complete? I can make it so there's a deck in the bottom corner of it if you want the complete deck.
No, I'm good with this.
Okay.
Or at least maybe for now, anyways. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe if we do a very important one.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. Oh man, I'm excited for that wedding. What are they called? Not succubus, the demon. Alu demons, yes. The half succubi.
That ass.
Honestly, I still think at some point it would be dope if we could get that full party back together. It would be new characters, but get them to do Return of the Rune Lords.
Yeah, dude, I would totally be down.
Because part of this isn't really a spoiler. It kind of says it in the player guide. Part of Return of the Rune Lords starts with your characters from Rise of the Rune Lords going missing.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh no, Uncle Cantham is gone.
Yeah, like
Really,
because
it's his
basically, like,
father.
you know, you got Cantham and all them are fucking heroes, right? It's like you get called on to do some stuff, and then eventually your new characters in return are like, well, why don't we just get the all-powerful Sihedron heroes to help us out? And they're like, yeah, we don't know where they are. They're missing.
They've taken an indefinite leave of absence. They're
Yeah,
done with
for
this
real.
bullshit. What would be a half aloe demon, half human? What would be the closest race for that?
A quarter Alu Demon? I mean, honestly, I would say odds are it'd probably be like a sorcerer with like a demonic bloodline, I'd imagine. Actually, I mean, I could see it being a tiefling, because tieflings can descend from a variety of abyssal infernal ancestries.
Like
Okay.
a massive dude, because he's part barbarian, so just a massive dude with these tiny little wings that just don't fit him.
But barbarian's like a class.
So he was
Like, my kid isn't gonna be part teacher because I'm a teacher.
That's bullshit. He was
I love that though.
he was actually a fighter. What was I gonna say? But definitely like have to do something. Actually, I think a warlock would be like the perfect thing for like Agnar's kid, because like shacked up with an Aloe demon, like his son's the one going to save him.
Hell yeah. Also, I fully sidebar into my life. I checked that voicemail from my mom called earlier while we were trying to do horror stuff. Left 3 voicemails, all just asking questions about bookshelves.
Yeah.
Mostly asking what they look like, even though she sent me the bookshelves. Like, she has the picture. She's like, what do they look like? And I'm like, you bought them.
All right, sorry, fellas.
No, it's all good. You good now? All ready?
Yeah,
All right, cool. So I would say now that you've recovered your health, probably like it's probably still not dawn yet. The rest is still kind of going, quote unquote. But Ethan, if you want Ingmar to do the reading now, I would say before the dawn breaks, essentially.
Yeah, before the dawn breaks, he's definitely going to do a reading, because now he hasn't been on this road long, but he's already touched the spirit world once on his own and with another partner, and obviously, this is kind of what he does. So he's gonna draw 1 card. I get 5 cards, so 1 for each of us, and then 1 for just the party in general or something else. So
Sure.
first one, I'm gonna essentially just I'm just gonna draw one and say this one is for Drew's character there.
Okay.
So
Bodavin.
this one is for Bodavin, yep.
What's it gonna
And
be?
what is this one? A 6 of glyphs.
I don't
Yeah.
have them all memorized yet.
I do. I got it right here.
Okay.
I got it pulled up right here. For you, Bodavin, I have the 6 of glyphs. It presents itself as what's called the anarchist. But don't think of it in a way you would traditionally believe in an anarchist, just disposing of all rules. This could definitely mean your beliefs will change. There will be a fundamental change of your beliefs over time. So don't hold on to the past, but embrace the future and listen to what is trying to be said to you. Next, I'm going to be drawing for. Let's go with.
Uhtred's next in the stream order.
Yeah, we'll just do Uhtred then.
Okay.
And for you, Uhtred. Oh. Another glyph card. This is the 8 of glyph. Let me look at this.
The
Well, it's
bishop.
the bishop. Yes.
I pulled up a list too, because now I was curious.
So you have a, clearly you have a deep belief and a code for what you believe in. And all of your plans are based around that. Stick to your beliefs. And just know that they will take you where you need to belong at some point in time. And lastly, for our young one. Actually, is he young? Is he even young?
I think he's just small.
He's in his 30s.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm pretty sure
For the
he's
little
not
one.
young.
He's
Fuck you.
95.
I love the idea that you say it to Thimble, and Thimble's just like, do you think I'm just like a kid?
Like,
Well,
I'm not
how-
going to grow up. This
Like,
is
until
me
right
growing
now,
up.
Igmar thought it was just like
you
a
are not
kid.
a child. You are no. Oh, I apologize. I'm sorry. But for you, you get the high deck of the broken one. This, you've lost something quite important. Something that is now a part of you, that without it you would be incomplete. I am unsure what this is going to mean for you, but I would hold on to this. Try to stick with what will make you feel whole in time.
He's going to start looking through his pockets, making sure he didn't drop something and lose something.
Oof.
And last,
Ooh.
it
Oh.
is another high card.
Ooh. I love when the high deck shows up.
The marionette. This can typically mean a puppet master of some kind. So the presence of a spy of some great power, and sticks with what we believe. We should not trust everyone we come across. Just know that what we are doing is powerful and dark, and we cannot trust anyone who will come to us.
As you hit that last, like, for the party card, again, you feel that sense of wrongness in your divinations, not the warm feeling, but the, like, cold breeze. And as you think about the marionette, you look up, and all of you realize that while you are sleeping, dawn's starting to break. There's a flock of ravens, like huge ravens, that have just been perfectly silent this whole time and are just watching you. Upon finishing the reading, they take off and fly away in like a loud ruckus.
Would I be getting, like... I guess I don't know what this would be.
I would say
they
with
be, like, clearly evil?
not necessarily that they themselves are like evil things, but I think Ethan, just with your like divination instinct with those cards, some of those might have been related to the marionette, like a puppet master.
This was not planned.
No, this was not planned.
Do we see which way they fly off?
I would say like all directions.
Oh, it's kind of scattered.
Like you would know that crows do form like a murder of crows. You know, a lot of them at once. That's a lot less common with ravens. Ravens are a bit smarter, but also more independent. It's like pretty weird that there would be this many ravens in one place at a time. So, but they don't fly off in one direction. They kind of go back to being independent and fly off across Barovia.
Well, with that, I'd say let's pack up and head to town, where
Okay.
we were headed initially.
All right, you can start heading for the not the country of Barovia, but the village of Barovia. I'm actually going to bring us to that map so you guys can see it. Give me 1 second to remove Fog of War. Since you guys were coming from the Vistani camp, let me turn around and look at my map. You guys would be approaching from the west side of the village. So likely kind of along this road over here. If you guys see that over there. It's still very early. What little light that comes with the day It's not quite at the top. As you guys approach, I'm going to describe approaching the village and then something else as well. Tall shapes loom out of the dense fog that surrounds everything here. Give me one sec. Yes, there we go. The muddy ground underfoot gives way to slick, wet cobblestones. The tall shapes become recognizable as village dwellings. The windows of each house stare out from pools of blackness. No sound cuts the silence except for mournful sobbing that echoes through the streets from a distance. As you guys round this bend, right here along the main street, you see something truly terrifying. Marching away from you are hundreds, if not thousands, of translucent figures. As you look at them, you see lots of features that you have seen from your party mates and from other contractors that work along the Sword Coast. You see holy symbols like those of Bahamut. You see robes as of monks. You see Earthbreaker hammers as barbarians march past. You see rangers, both with animal companions and bows slung on their backs. You see wizards with their spell books. You see bards with instruments. And all of you are filled with a unshakable conviction. These are the spirits of heroes. Not just any heroes. These are heroes that have come from the outside world to try to free Barovia. And judging by how many there are, heroes have been trying to do what you are doing for what must have been hundreds of years.
Now, is this something that we know automatically just from what we're taking in?
Yeah, this is just something like you look at it and you realize like these are heroes that were also brought here, and every single one of them has failed.
Looks like we're just a set of swords and a whole line of swords.
Yeah. As the light starts to kind of, the light of the sun presumably kind of backlights those clouds above you, those figures do start to fade away. What do you guys do?
Just kind of bask in and take in whatever. I mean, Ingmar's used to speaking with the dead and telling their stories. It's kind of what he's like striving for to do. He's always had the sense. So for him, it's just kind of like just basking in it, kind of setting it in stone. Like this is something they have to do. This is a story that needs to be finished and told at some point in time.
Oh yeah.
But he continues, and he does tell everyone, like, do not fear them. They are not here to harm us. They may even aid us at some point in time, but those are the ones who came before.
That's not very comforting.
Donovan puts his hand on Ingmar's shoulder and just taps his necklace, and it faintly begins to glow. He just continues to stare.
I don't know about you fellas, but I don't savvy spending an eternity in a town that smells like hog shit.
Well, I have no intentions of spending eternity here. We were brought here for a reason, and I believe deep down we can see it to its end.
I'd imagine that's the same thing all those poor souls felt before us.
It's true,
What?
but they did not have a vampire slayer with them.
And they didn't have your cards either, did they, fella?
No, I do not.
I like to imagine you guys look back at the crowd and like see someone shuffling Taroka cards next to a vampire slayer.
I was about to say, out of all those numbers, like a few of them had to have been vampire slayers and tarot card readers.
Maybe. I will say you didn't see anyone specifically with your guys' gear. But certainly some people who, maybe fit your general aesthetic, we'll say that.
They weren't vampire slayers with an awesome backstory.
Yeah. Or a gnome child.
Yeah.
Or a gnome child.
My
this
character
is just getting hurtful now.
My character is stuck, but I mean, I would start advancing into the town a little more.
All right. I would say give me a perception check.
I can't. My character sheet's stuck. I'm gonna try and pop in and out real quick.
Okay. I'll say anyone else can make a perception. Yeah, everyone can make a perception check as you go in.
Is this a good place to stop then for us where we're at? Like, is this a natural stopping point before we get into anything?
I was gonna do like one more thing before we wrap up at 11 here, but yeah, we're about to hit a stopping point.
Let's do it then.
All right, so that was
perception.
Yeah, Ingmar got a 12. That's the highest so far. Okay.
Just a second on both, then I have to reopen his character sheet.
That's why I can't open mine. You got them all.
Damn it, Bodovan.
You're using all the character sheet bandwidth.
That's how it works.
Hey,
that was clearly not Bodovan. Okay.
Yeah, so if you hit the settings sprocket beside spells, and on the very right hand side, right under NPC, where it says roll queries, if you click on that, you'll see a drop down box that says advantage toggle.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And that will give you the option to select advantage or disadvantage or normal, and that'll keep the two numbers there from popping up whenever you roll something.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. So, 26. Sorry, I didn't even see that one. Smashed it. Okay. I'm going to ping it for you guys. You guys gonna walk through the village. You hear the occasional voice. This place feels very empty. But, you guys see, or at least, Uhtred and Ingmar both see this. You see a strange pair of kids run down the main street over to this building here. Which I'm
strange as in like you've got one leg longer than the other?
Or I'm going to show you a picture of them. One sec. These are the children you see running through the street.
Yeah, that's fucking creepy as shit.
You called the leg though. Look at that doll.
It's true.
And as you kind of hear a strange giggle from the smaller one as they run through the street and disappear into a house on the edge of town. And I'm going to actually mark it so you guys can see. It is this one over here that says E7. The gravel road leads to the village. Its tall houses dark as tombstones. As you approach this building, you see you hear that soft whimpering as your eyes draw toward the pair of children now standing in the street in front of you. Those two that I just showed you. After shushing the boy, the girl turns to you and says, "There's a monster in the house." She then points to a tall brick row house that has seen better days. Its windows are dark. There's a gated portico on the ground floor, and the rusty gate is slightly ajar. The houses on either side are abandoned, their windows and doors boarded up.
So the house E7 is what you're talking about, or?
Correct.
So I'd kneel down and I'd talk to the little girl. Easy, easy there, little bird.
Yeah. The smaller one is he tells you that is Thornbolt. That's her younger brother, and the taller one is Rosavalda. They call themselves Rose and Thorn for short. As you say, easy, little bird. Thorn's just like, kind of clutches that creepy-looking doll tighter to himself. You gotta get the monster out, please. You gotta get it out.
Hey, what do you got there, fella? As I point to his doll that he's got.
It's just my dolly. My parents, they made it for me.
Actually, no, it's a little bit something else. You know what this is?
What is it?
It's a very special doll here. See, your parents, they must have been very smart people. What you've got here is a Mondovian protector doll.
Are you like trying to lie to him? Make him feel better?
Yeah.
Give me a bluff roll.
Let me find my character sheet again. I'm just being nice.
I know, that's just like, that's a very sweet bluff, but it is a bluff nonetheless.
All right,
I was
deception.
about to approach as an orc and then realized I probably shouldn't approach children who's never
Oh,
seen
sorry,
an orc
deception's
before.
on.
And like, come here, child.
Well, they're creepier looking than you are.
He just full bursts into tears. As he just doesn't believe it. But Rose, the taller one, she pulls out. She's like, "Look, that's very sweet of you. Look, we're not going back inside until the monster's gone. Please, we'll wait out here. You all look strong. You can take care of it. Can't you?"
What kind of monster is in your house, young one?
She shakes her head, like clamps her mouth shut. And as she points toward the house, you see that strange mists that you saw on the borders of Barovia seem to be swirling in and around the house, kind of curling through the door, out through the windows, almost settling upon the place like this just oppressive fog.
I'd immediately start with throwing out. Like, just kind of seeing that and getting this bad feeling, especially after, like, the deck of cards, is immediately throw out 2 Bardic Inspirations, one on the gnome and one on Uhtred.
Alright, you throw those Bardic Inspirations as you guys stare into the house. The children kind of back away.
Before they do,
Yeah, go ahead.
Bodovin reaches down and just at will touches a little doll and says, "Fear not, we walk with the light," and it illuminates.
Ooh, you cast a light cantrip on it?
Yeah.
You see its little button eyes kind of start to glow with just like bright little beacons. As Thorn, Thorn smiles.
And to piggyback off that, I give the kid a smirk. See, I told you, fella. It's a special doll.
Yeah. He's like clearly still trying not to cry, but feels a little bit better. And with that, we're going to pause there, outside of the ever iconic murder house that has been the bane of many an adventuring party through the years.
Yeah, we almost.
This is right off the bat, dude. Like, you're killing characters off right from the word-go.
Oh, we're going. I'm going for the fucking throat,
We
dude.
almost got TPK'd by a flipping wolf.
This is Curse of Strahd, baby.
Oh,
We'll catch our stride.
I dig it.
Yeah, I'm liking it. I like the. I like the tone that we have, and it's definitely not easy. And even playing smart, we can still lose. That's the thing. It only takes one bad roll.
Yeah.
It's got a lot more of a Pathfinder feel to it than normal 5e.
Yeah, I'll be able to focus
Yes.
next iteration. So I apologize, guys. I wasn't 100% in it.
No worries, man. We'll sort out all the
That's-
technical stuff, and it'll be even. It'll
Yeah,
be even more
If anyone
intense
has
next time.
problems with their character sheet, let me know. I'll check it out this week.
Yeah, I actually my kid is on vacation with mom, so I'm free a lot more this week if we need to meet up and do stuff. But we'll figure that out afterwards. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you guys for playing, and I am eager to see what you guys do next time. If you're still watching, feel free to stick around for one more ad. Thank you for supporting the channel, and we will see you guys next Tuesday.
Good
Bye,
night,
guys.
guys.
Later, Gators.